Life moves fast, and most people spend it reacting instead of acting with purpose. Every day offers an opportunity to make choices that shape who you become. Yet so often we postpone the things that matter most. What if you could live fully in the present while also building a future that reflects your highest potential? This audiobook is designed to help you do exactly that. You will learn how to act decisively today without sacrificing your long-term goals. You will discover practical habits that strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. You will understand how to respond calmly to challenges, take responsibility for your choices, and create systems that make progress consistent and sustainable. Every chapter focuses on actions you can take immediately to improve your life, build resilience, and develop discipline that lasts. This is not about quick fixes or temporary motivation. It is about real strategies that allow you to live each day with intention, honor your efforts, and prepare for the future with confidence. You will gain tools to protect your energy, manage your time, and cultivate mental and physical strength. You will learn how to prioritize what matters, reflect on your progress, and end each day proud of your actions. If you want to stop drifting and start creating a life where every day counts while your long-term vision thrives, this audiobook will guide you step by step. By the end, you will have a clear approach to living fully, building consistently, and making every choice meaningful. This is your guide to living as if today is your last, while building as if you'll never stop. Chapter 1: Act today with urgency while planning for long growth. Acting today with urgency while planning for long growth is a discipline that shapes the quality of an entire life. Many people delay action because they feel unready or overwhelmed by the future. Others rush blindly without thinking beyond the moment. Both paths lead to regret. Urgency without direction leads to burnout. Planning without action leads to stagnation. The balance between these two is where a strong and meaningful life is built. This balance begins with a clear understanding that today is not guaranteed, while tomorrow still deserves preparation. The present moment is the only place where effort can happen. The future is only shaped by what is done now. When this truth is fully accepted, behavior changes naturally. Time becomes valuable. Distractions lose their power. Small actions gain meaning because they are seen as building blocks rather than isolated tasks. Urgency does not mean panic. It does not mean rushing through life or living in constant stress. Urgency is a calm awareness that time matters. It is the inner decision to treat each day as important. When urgency is grounded in calm intention, it becomes focused energy. It encourages starting instead of waiting. It removes the habit of postponing what truly matters. Many people believe they will act when they feel ready or inspired. That moment rarely comes. Growth begins when action comes first and clarity follows. Acting today means doing the important work even when motivation is low. It means showing up when no one is watching. It means understanding that progress respects consistency, not intensity. Planning for long growth requires patience and perspective. It means accepting that meaningful results take time. There are no shortcuts to building character, skills, or stability. Long growth is created through systems, not sudden effort. A system is a set of daily actions that are repeated regardless of mood or outcome. Planning for long growth means choosing actions that can be sustained for years, not weeks. It means asking whether a habit strengthens life or drains it. This type of planning is quiet and thoughtful. It focuses on direction rather than speed. It is rooted in values rather than trends. The challenge is holding urgency and patience at the same time. This requires mental discipline. Urgency pushes action today. Patience protects against frustration tomorrow. Together they form resilience. A resilient person works hard today while accepting that results may come later. This mindset removes pressure and replaces it with purpose. Each day becomes an opportunity to build rather than a test to pass. When progress is slow, the effort still feels meaningful because it aligns with a long view. A practical way to live this principle is to begin each morning with one clear priority. This priority should be something that contributes to long growth. It could be learning a skill, strengthening health, improving focus, or building discipline. The task does not need to be large. It needs to be intentional. When the day starts with purposeful action, the mind becomes sharper. Confidence grows because control is being exercised. Over time, this habit trains the mind to move toward effort rather than comfort. Urgency also requires eliminating the habit of delay. Delay often hides behind reasonable excuses, being tired, being busy, waiting for better timing. These reasons feel valid, but they slowly weaken self-trust. Each time action is postponed, the mind learns avoidance. Acting today rebuilds trust with oneself. It proves that commitment matters. Trust is not built through promises, it is built through completed actions. Even small actions strengthen identity. A person who acts becomes someone who can rely on themselves. Planning for long growth involves defining a direction without becoming rigid. Direction answers the question of where effort is being placed. It does not need to be detailed or perfect. It needs to be honest. A clear direction simplifies decisions. It reduces confusion. When choices arise, the question becomes simple. Does this support long growth or distract from it? This clarity saves energy and reduces regret. One way to plan effectively is to focus on foundations. Foundations are areas that support everything else. Health, discipline, learning, finances, and character are examples of foundations. Improving these areas creates stability. Without them, success becomes fragile. When foundations are weak, stress increases and progress slows. Planning long growth means giving priority to foundations even when they are not exciting. This is where maturity develops. Choosing long benefit over short pleasure strengthens inner control. Urgency should guide daily behavior. Planning should guide overall structure. Each day is an opportunity to act with purpose within a larger framework. This prevents both chaos and complacency. Chaos comes from action without direction. Complacency comes from plans without action. Balance creates momentum. Momentum is the result of repeated aligned effort. It feels calm and steady rather than rushed. A stoic approach teaches focus on what can be controlled. Time cannot be controlled, but actions can. Outcomes cannot be guaranteed, but effort can. Acting today is fully within control. Planning growth is also within control. Worrying about results is not. When attention is placed on controllable actions, peace increases, stress decreases, confidence grows. This mindset creates emotional stability even in uncertainty. Another practical step is to limit decision fatigue. Too many choices drain energy. Planning removes unnecessary decisions. When routines are set, energy is preserved for meaningful work. Urgency is supported by simplicity. When life is cluttered, action feels heavy. When life is structured, action becomes easier. This does not require strict schedules. It requires intentional defaults. Simple habits repeated daily remove friction. Acting today also means addressing avoidance. Avoidance often targets the tasks that matter most. Writing, training, learning, and difficult conversations are common examples. These tasks create growth but require effort. Urgency encourages facing them early. When difficult tasks are completed early, the rest of the day feels lighter. Confidence increases. This reinforces the habit of action. Over time, discomfort becomes familiar rather than frightening. Planning for long growth includes realistic expectations. Growth is not linear. Some days will feel productive. Others will feel slow. This is normal. Long growth requires emotional consistency. This means maintaining effort regardless of feelings. Emotions change. Values remain. When actions are guided by values, progress continues even during low motivation. This is where discipline becomes freedom. It is also important to understand that urgency does not mean filling every moment with work. Rest is part of long growth. Recovery protects energy and prevents burnout. Planning includes rest as a responsibility, not a reward. Rest supports clarity, focus, and health. Without rest, urgency turns into exhaustion. Balanced effort sustains momentum. A daily reflection can strengthen this principle. At the end of the day, consider whether actions aligned with long growth. This is not about judgment. It is about awareness. Awareness leads to adjustment. Small adjustments made consistently lead to transformation. Reflection keeps effort intentional. It prevents drifting through days without direction. Urgency becomes easier when purpose is clear. Purpose answers why effort matters. It does not need to be grand. It needs to be meaningful. Purpose gives weight to small actions. When effort is connected to purpose, discipline feels natural rather than forced. Planning should reflect purpose. Goals that align with purpose feel energizing rather than draining. Another practical application is learning to start before feeling ready. Readiness is often a form of resistance. Growth requires movement. Movement creates clarity. Waiting creates doubt. Acting today, even imperfectly, builds experience. Experience is the best teacher. Planning allows improvement over time. Starting small is still starting. Urgency also means honoring commitments. Promises made to oneself deserve respect. Breaking self-promises weakens integrity. Keeping them strengthens character. Even small commitments matter. They train the mind to follow through. This builds inner authority. A person with inner authority does not need external pressure to act. Planning long growth includes learning to say no. Saying no protects time and energy. Every yes is a trade. Urgency clarifies what deserves attention. Planning clarifies what does not. When unnecessary commitments are removed, focus increases. Focus improves quality of effort. Quality compounds over time. It is important to separate business from progress. Being busy can feel productive without producing growth. Urgency should be directed toward meaningful tasks, not constant activity. Planning identifies what truly matters. This prevents wasting effort on distractions. Progress is measured by alignment, not exhaustion. Long growth also requires humility. Mistakes will happen. Plans will change. This is part of the process. Urgency encourages learning from mistakes rather than avoiding them. Planning allows adjustment without losing direction. This flexibility strengthens resilience. A rigid mind breaks under pressure. A disciplined but flexible mind adapts. Acting today builds confidence. Confidence is not a feeling, it is a result. Each completed action strengthens belief in ability. This belief fuels future effort. Planning ensures that confidence is built on solid ground. Confidence without direction becomes reckless. Direction without confidence becomes timid. Together they form strength. Daily discipline is the bridge between urgency and growth. Discipline removes negotiation. It turns intention into routine. Routine reduces effort. Over time, effort feels natural. This is how long growth becomes sustainable. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. Another useful practice is setting minimum standards. A minimum standard defines the least acceptable effort. This prevents all or nothing thinking. On difficult days, meeting the minimum still maintains momentum. Over time, minimums often increase naturally. Planning allows for this progression. Urgency ensures the minimum is met daily. The mind often resists long growth because results are delayed. Urgency counteracts this by focusing on process rather than outcome. When satisfaction comes from completing actions rather than seeing results, patience increases. This shift is powerful. It creates independence from external validation. Growth becomes internal. Acting today also means accepting discomfort. Growth requires effort. Effort creates discomfort. Avoiding discomfort leads to stagnation. Urgency reframes discomfort as necessary rather than harmful. Planning ensures that discomfort is purposeful rather than random. Purposeful discomfort strengthens character. It is also important to protect focus. Attention is a limited resource. Planning defines priorities. Urgency applies focus to them. Distractions dilute effort. Reducing distractions improves quality. This includes managing digital habits, environment, and social influences. Focus is a skill that improves with practice. Long growth is often invisible. This can be discouraging. Planning helps by tracking effort rather than results. Tracking builds awareness. Awareness reinforces consistency. Over time, results appear naturally. When they do, they feel earned rather than surprising. Acting today builds momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Resistance is highest at the start. Urgency pushes through this barrier. Planning ensures momentum is directed wisely. Once momentum is established, effort feels lighter. This is how habits are formed. A Stoic perspective also emphasizes acceptance of limits. Not everything can be controlled. Energy should be invested where impact is possible. Urgency without acceptance leads to frustration. Planning with acceptance leads to peace. Peace supports consistency. Daily action also shapes identity. Identity is built through repeated behavior. Acting today builds the identity of a builder rather than a dreamer. Planning reinforces this identity by creating structure. Over time, behavior and identity align. This alignment creates integrity. One practical approach is to choose one area to improve each season. This prevents overload. Planning long growth becomes manageable. Urgency ensures daily action within that area. This focused approach leads to deeper progress. It is also helpful to reduce comparison. Comparison distorts urgency and planning. Everyone has a different path. Focusing on personal progress maintains motivation. Planning should be personal. Urgency should be internal. External comparison weakens discipline. Another element is gratitude for the opportunity to act. Action is a privilege. Time, energy, and ability are resources. Using them wisely honors their value. This mindset increases commitment. It transforms obligation into choice. Acting today does not mean neglecting relationships. Relationships are part of long growth. Planning should include time for connection. Urgency should guide presence. Being fully present strengthens bonds. Strong relationships support resilience. Planning also involves anticipating challenges. Challenges are not signs of failure. They are part of growth. Preparing mentally reduces shock. Urgency encourages facing challenges early rather than avoiding them. This builds confidence. Financial discipline is another area where this principle applies. Acting today means saving, learning, and budgeting. Planning means investing wisely and avoiding impulsive decisions. Small financial habits compound over time. This creates stability and freedom. Health follows the same pattern. Acting today means movement, nutrition, and rest. Planning means consistency and balance. Health supports all other goals. Without it, urgency fades and planning collapses. Learning is also essential. Acting today means reading, practicing, and reflecting. Planning means choosing relevant skills. Learning compounds. It strengthens adaptability. Adaptability supports long growth in a changing world. Emotional discipline is equally important. Acting today means responding calmly rather than reacting impulsively. Planning means developing coping strategies. Emotional stability improves decision-making. At the end of each day, it is useful to review actions honestly. This builds awareness. Awareness builds improvement. Improvement builds confidence. Confidence fuels urgency. This cycle sustains growth. Living as if today matters while building for a long future is not dramatic. It is quiet, consistent effort. It is choosing action over excuses. It is choosing patience over frustration. It is choosing discipline over comfort. This path does not promise ease. It promises meaning. When urgency and planning are aligned, life feels intentional. Days feel purposeful. Effort feels worthwhile. Even challenges feel constructive. This is not because life becomes easier, but because response becomes stronger. The true reward of this approach is self-respect. Knowing that time was used well. Knowing that effort was honest. Knowing that growth was pursued. This inner satisfaction cannot be taken away. It is built daily. Act today because today is real. Plan for long growth because the future deserves preparation. Hold both truths with discipline. This balance builds a life of strength, clarity, and quiet confidence. Chapter 20. Build daily habits that support progress beyond immediate results. Building daily habits that support progress beyond immediate results is how real change takes root in a person's life. Big goals feel exciting, but they often fail because they rely on motivation, mood, or visible rewards. Habits are different. Habits work quietly. They do not ask how you feel. They do not depend on applause or quick wins. They move your life forward even on ordinary days when nothing feels special. When habits are chosen wisely, they create progress that continues long after the excitement fades. Most people judge progress by what they can see right away. They want fast results, clear signs, and instant proof that their effort is working. This way of thinking leads to frustration and inconsistency. Many good habits are abandoned simply because they do not pay off immediately. Strength training does not show results in a week. Saving money does not feel rewarding at first. Learning a skill feels slow in the beginning. Daily habits require faith in process rather than obsession with outcome. They demand trust that small actions done consistently will lead somewhere meaningful. A habit is not just an action. It is a decision repeated until it becomes automatic, What makes habits powerful is not their size, but their consistency. A short walk every day changes health more than a long workout done once a month. Reading a few pages daily builds knowledge faster than occasional intense study. Writing a paragraph a day produces more work than waiting for inspiration. Habits remove the burden of constant decision-making. They turn effort into routine. Routine protects progress. To build habits that last, the first step is to lower the bar of effort. Many people fail because they start too big. They try to change everything at once. This creates pressure and resistance. The mind resists drastic change. It seeks comfort and familiarity. Small habits feel safe. They are easier to repeat. Repetition builds identity. Identity shapes behavior. When someone begins to see themselves as a person who shows up daily, even in small ways, consistency becomes natural. Another important aspect is choosing habits that align with long-term values rather than short-term pleasure. A habit should support the person you want to become, not just the mood you want to feel today. This requires honesty. It means recognizing which actions move life forward and which only provide temporary relief. Long progress often feels boring at first because it lacks drama. But boredom is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that discipline is replacing impulse. Daily habits should focus on inputs rather than results. Results are delayed and often unpredictable. Inputs are within control. You cannot control when success appears, but you can control whether you practice, learn, save, train, or reflect today. When habits are built around inputs, effort becomes steady. This steadiness reduces anxiety. It creates a sense of quiet confidence. Progress may be invisible for a while, but it is still happening beneath the surface. A practical way to strengthen habits is to attach them to existing routines. This reduces friction. When a habit is connected to something already familiar, it is easier to remember and repeat. Reading after waking up, stretching before bed, writing after lunch, or planning the day before sleep are examples. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Missing one day is not failure. Quitting altogether is. Environment also plays a powerful role. Habits are easier to maintain when surroundings support them. A clean workspace encourages focus. Healthy food within reach supports better eating. A book placed on the table invites reading. A phone kept away reduces distraction. Discipline is not only about willpower, it is about design. When the environment is arranged thoughtfully, good habits require less effort. Patience is essential. Habits that support long growth do not provide constant excitement. Some days they feel pointless. This is where most people stop. They confuse lack of immediate reward with lack of value. Growth does not announce itself daily. It accumulates quietly. The person who continues anyway develops inner strength. This strength extends beyond habits into character. Tracking habits can increase awareness without creating pressure. Writing down completed actions reinforces identity. It creates a visual reminder of consistency. The focus should remain on showing up rather than achieving perfection. Tracking is a tool for awareness, not judgment. When used correctly, it builds momentum. Another key principle is to protect habits from emotional fluctuation. Mood changes daily. Energy rises and falls. Habits must exist beyond emotion. This is where stoic discipline matters. Acting based on values rather than feelings ensures continuity. On good days, habits feel easy. On difficult days, they still happen, even if done at a lower intensity. This protects long-term progress. Habits also benefit from clear boundaries. A habit without a boundary expands or disappears. Time boundaries help. A set duration makes effort manageable. 15 minutes of focused work done daily outperforms occasional long sessions. Boundaries reduce resistance because the mind knows the effort will end. This makes starting easier. It is important to understand that habits shape thinking. Repeated action influences belief. A person who trains daily believes in their ability to commit. A person who learns daily believes growth is possible. These beliefs affect future choices. Habits build confidence through evidence. Confidence built this way is stable because it is earned. Rest is also a habit. Many people neglect this. Rest supports long growth by preserving energy. Without rest, habits become draining. Sustainable progress includes recovery. Sleep, quiet time, and reflection protect mental clarity. A tired mind struggles to maintain discipline. Rest should be intentional and guilt-free. Another habit that supports long progress is reflection. Reflection turns experience into learning. A few minutes spent reviewing actions helps identify patterns. What worked? What did not? What can be adjusted? Reflection keeps habits aligned with goals. It prevents blind repetition. Growth requires awareness. Habits should also be flexible. Life changes. Schedules shift. Rigid habits break under pressure. Flexible habits adapt. This does not mean abandoning discipline. It means adjusting form while preserving intention. If circumstances change, reduce intensity but maintain consistency. This keeps momentum alive. Social influence matters. Habits are easier to maintain when surrounded by people who value growth. This does not require constant interaction. Even reading books or listening to thoughtful voices shapes mindset. Exposure influences behavior. Choose influences carefully. Long growth thrives in environments that respect effort. Financial habits are a strong example of delayed reward. Saving small amounts daily feels insignificant. Over time it creates security. This teaches patience and trust in process. The same principle applies to health, learning, and skill building. Delayed reward trains emotional maturity. A common mistake is trying to optimize habits too early. Perfection is not required. Consistency comes first. Refinement comes later. Many people quit because they search for the best method instead of practicing a good one. Progress favors action over optimization. Improvement happens through repetition. Habits also protect against chaos. When life becomes unpredictable, habits provide stability. They create anchors. Even when circumstances feel out of control, daily habits restore a sense of agency. This emotional benefit is often overlooked. Habits are not just tools for success. They are tools for peace. One habit worth developing is starting the day with intention. This could be planning priorities or quiet reflection. It sets direction. Direction reduces distraction. Distraction wastes energy. Intentional mornings improve focus throughout the day. Ending the day with a simple review also supports growth. Noticing what was done well builds confidence. Identifying small improvements guides tomorrow. This habit closes the day with awareness rather than regret. Long-term habits also teach humility. Progress takes time. Effort does not guarantee immediate reward. This acceptance reduces frustration. It builds resilience. Resilience allows continuation when others stop. It is important to avoid comparing progress with others. Habits work on individual timelines. Comparison creates impatience. Impatience leads to quitting. Focus on personal consistency. Growth measured against yesterday is enough. Habits should be chosen carefully. Not every good habit fits every life. Select habits that support current responsibilities and energy levels. Overloading leads to failure. Simplicity leads to consistency. A strong habit identity forms when action becomes non-negotiable. This does not require harshness. It requires clarity. When a habit is tied to values, it becomes easier to protect. Values provide meaning. Meaning fuels discipline. Over time, habits compound. Small improvements accumulate. The change becomes noticeable. What once felt slow now feels natural. This is the quiet power of daily effort. The person becomes capable without realizing when it happened. Building habits beyond immediate results requires faith in self and process. It requires showing up without constant validation. It requires patience and discipline. This path is not flashy. It is steady. It builds strength that lasts. Daily habits shape the direction of a life. They decide whether time works for or against you. They transform intention into reality. When habits are aligned with long growth, progress continues even when attention fades. This is how lasting change is built. One day at a time, one action repeated, one habit strengthened. The reward is not only future success but present self-respect. Chapter 30. Choose meaningful goals that honor present effort and future vision. Choosing meaningful goals that honor present effort and future vision is one of the most important decisions a person can make. Goals shape direction. They decide where time goes, where energy flows, and what kind of person you slowly become. Many people set goals based on pressure, comparison, or short-term excitement. Those goals rarely last. Meaningful goals are different. They are rooted in personal values and realistic understanding of life. They respect who you are today while guiding who you are becoming. A meaningful goal does not ignore the present moment. It does not demand sacrifice without purpose. It asks for effort today that makes sense and effort tomorrow that still feels worthwhile. When a goal is meaningful, daily work feels connected to something larger. Even small steps carry weight. Without meaning, effort feels heavy and empty. With meaning, effort feels intentional even when it is difficult. One mistake people often make is choosing goals that only focus on the future while neglecting present capacity. This creates constant pressure. When goals are too distant or unrealistic, the present feels like a burden rather than a place of growth. Another mistake is choosing goals that only satisfy the present without regard for the future. This leads to comfort today and regret later. The balance lies in goals that demand discipline now while protecting long-term well-being. Meaningful goals begin with clarity about values. Values are the principles that matter regardless of outcome. They guide decisions even when motivation is low. A goal aligned with values survives hardship because it feels necessary rather than optional. Without this alignment, goals become fragile. When challenges appear, commitment fades. When goals reflect values, perseverance feels natural. It is important to understand that not every impressive goal is meaningful. Some goals look good but feel empty once pursued. External approval fades quickly. Meaning lasts longer. A meaningful goal may not impress others, but it will satisfy you. This satisfaction fuels consistency. Consistency creates progress. Progress builds confidence. Choosing meaningful goals also requires honesty about limitations. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. A goal that ignores reality invites frustration. A goal that respects reality invites steady improvement. Life includes responsibilities, energy limits, and unexpected challenges. Meaningful goals adapt to these conditions rather than denying them. Present effort matters because it builds discipline. Discipline is the ability to act without constant motivation. A meaningful goal encourages daily effort that is challenging but sustainable. It does not require heroic intensity. It requires steady commitment. When effort becomes part of routine, progress feels less forced. This protects long-term vision. Future vision matters because it gives direction to effort. Without vision, effort becomes random. Vision answers the question of why the work matters. It helps prioritize tasks. It prevents distraction. A clear vision simplifies choices. When opportunities arise, the question becomes whether they align with long-term direction. Meaningful goals often evolve. Growth changes perspective. What mattered before may shift. This does not mean the original goal was wrong. It means learning occurred. Adjusting goals is not quitting. It is refining direction. Flexibility keeps goals relevant. Rigid attachment creates unnecessary pressure. A practical approach to choosing goals is to focus on identity rather than outcome. Instead of aiming only for external results, consider who you want to become through the process. This shifts attention to behavior. Behavior can be practiced daily. Identity grows through repetition. Outcomes then become byproducts rather than sole measures of success. Another important factor is timeline. Meaningful goals respect time. They allow for gradual progress. They do not demand constant urgency without rest. They recognize that growth has seasons. Some periods require intense effort. Others require patience. This understanding reduces self-criticism. It is also useful to limit the number of goals. Too many goals divide focus. Divided focus weakens effort. Choosing fewer goals increases depth. Depth creates mastery. Mastery builds confidence. A small number of meaningful goals is more powerful than many shallow ones. Daily actions should be clearly connected to goals. If a goal does not influence daily behavior, it remains an idea rather than a direction. Meaningful goals shape routines. They influence how time is used. This connection keeps goals alive. Without daily relevance, goals fade. Another mistake is setting goals based solely on emotion. Emotion changes. Meaning persists. A meaningful goal can withstand boredom, frustration, and doubt. Emotional goals collapse when excitement fades. This is why discipline matters more than passion. Passion is helpful but unreliable. Meaningful goals also require acceptance of discomfort. Growth involves challenge. Avoiding discomfort leads to choosing easy goals. Easy goals rarely create change. Meaningful goals stretch ability without breaking it. This stretch builds strength. Strength builds confidence. Progress toward meaningful goals should be measured by effort rather than outcome. Outcome depends on many factors. Effort reflects commitment. Measuring effort reduces anxiety. It keeps focus on what can be controlled. This stoic approach builds peace. Goals should also consider impact beyond self. This does not mean neglecting personal needs. It means recognizing that growth often benefits others. Serving others through skill, responsibility, or presence adds depth to goals. This depth increases meaning. It is important to write goals clearly. Vague goals lack power. Clear goals guide action. Clarity reduces confusion. Confusion leads to delay. Delay weakens momentum. Writing goals forces precision. Precision strengthens commitment. Reviewing goals regularly keeps them relevant. Life changes. Goals should adapt. This review is not about criticism. It is about alignment. Are current efforts still supporting the desired future? Adjustment is a sign of awareness. Meaningful goals also respect health. A goal that damages health undermines long-term vision. Sustainable success includes physical and mental well-being. Goals should support balance rather than demand constant sacrifice. A burnout destroys progress. Another aspect is patience. Meaningful goals teach patience because results take time. Patience is a skill developed through practice. It strengthens emotional stability. Stability improves decision-making. This benefits all areas of life. It is also helpful to separate self-worth from goal achievement. Goals guide effort but do not define value. This prevents discouragement. Effort remains steady when self-worth is stable. This creates resilience. Meaningful goals often require saying no to distractions. Distractions offer immediate pleasure but steal focus. Focus is necessary for progress. Saying no is a form of respect for long-term vision. This choice becomes easier when goals are clear. It is important to remember that goals are tools, not identities. They serve growth. They are not prisons. If a goal no longer serves values or well-being, it can be released. This requires courage. Holding on to outdated goals creates stagnation. Daily effort should be celebrated quietly. Recognition of effort builds confidence. Confidence supports continuation. This internal validation reduces dependence on external praise. Another useful practice is imagining the future self who benefits from present effort. This creates connection between today and tomorrow. It reinforces purpose. Purpose strengthens discipline. Meaningful goals also teach humility. Progress is rarely linear. Setbacks occur. Setbacks do not erase effort. They offer information. Learning from setbacks improves strategy. This mindset keeps goals alive. It is important to protect goals from negative self-talk. Doubt is natural. Listening to doubt too closely weakens commitment. A disciplined mind acknowledges doubt without obeying it. Action continues despite uncertainty. Goals should challenge comfort but not destroy stability. Balance is key. Extreme goals often collapse. Balanced goals endure. Endurance matters more than intensity. Choosing meaningful goals is an act of self-respect. It says that time matters, energy matters, life direction matters. This respect influences daily behavior. Over time, meaningful goals create coherence. Actions align with values. Decisions become easier. Life feels intentional. Even effort feels lighter because it serves a clear purpose. When present effort honors future vision, work feels connected. Each day contributes to something lasting. This connection creates fulfillment. Fulfillment sustains effort. Meaningful goals do not promise ease. They promise direction. Direction reduces regret. Regret comes from wasted effort and unclear priorities. Meaningful goals prevent this by guiding action. In the end, goals are not about achievement alone. They are about growth of discipline, clarity, and character. When goals honor both today and tomorrow, they shape a life of steady progress and quiet strength. Chapter 4. Strength and discipline through small actions repeated every single day. Strengthening discipline through small actions repeated every single day is how self-control becomes reliable instead of fragile. Discipline is often misunderstood as harshness or force. In reality, discipline is calm consistency. It is the ability to act according to intention rather than impulse. It grows quietly through repetition. Big dramatic efforts may feel impressive, but they rarely last. Small actions repeated daily shape behavior in a way nothing else can. Discipline does not appear suddenly. It is trained. Just like a muscle, it responds to regular use. When effort is too intense, the muscle strains and recovers slowly. When effort is manageable and consistent, strength increases steadily. Small actions protect discipline from exhaustion. They allow progress even on difficult days. This is important because life does not always provide ideal conditions. Discipline that depends on perfect circumstances collapses quickly. Many people wait until they feel disciplined before they act. This is backwards. Action creates discipline, not the other way around. Each small action completed despite resistance teaches the mind that follow-through is possible. Over time, resistance loses power. The mind becomes familiar with effort. What once felt difficult begins to feel normal. This is how discipline becomes part of identity rather than a temporary state. Small actions matter because they remove negotiation. When a task is simple, the mind has fewer reasons to resist. Resistance thrives on complexity and overwhelm. Simplicity reduces excuses. A short walk feels achievable. Reading one page feels manageable. Writing one sentence feels possible. These actions may seem insignificant, but they build momentum. Momentum changes behavior. Repetition is the key. A single action has limited impact. Repeated actions shape habits. Habits shape character. Character shapes life direction. This chain is often ignored because results take time. Discipline grows invisibly at first. There may be no immediate reward. This is where patience matters. Trust in repetition creates strength. Daily repetition also builds trust with yourself. Each time you do what you said you would do, even in a small way, self-trust increases. This trust is powerful. It reduces internal conflict. Decisions become easier. Confidence grows naturally. A person who trusts themselves does not need constant motivation. Small daily actions also protect against perfectionism. Perfectionism often stops progress. When standards are too high, starting feels risky. Small actions lower the risk. They encourage participation rather than avoidance. Progress becomes about showing up rather than performing flawlessly. This mindset supports consistency. Discipline improves emotional stability. When actions are consistent, mood becomes less influential. You no longer wait for the right feeling. You act because it is time to act. This reduces emotional swings. Life feels steadier. Challenges feel manageable. Discipline creates structure. Structure creates calm. Another benefit of small daily actions is adaptability. When life becomes busy or stressful, small actions can still be completed. This maintains continuity. Large plans often fail under pressure. Small commitments survive. Survival matters more than intensity. Consistency maintains progress during difficult periods. It is important to choose actions that align with values. Discipline without purpose feels empty. When actions reflect personal values, effort feels meaningful. Meaning reduces resistance. Resistance fades when effort makes sense. This alignment strengthens commitment. Discipline also improves focus. Repeated actions train attention. Attention becomes sharper. Distraction loses appeal. This happens gradually. The mind learns to stay with tasks rather than escape discomfort. This skill extends beyond habits into work, relationships, and decision-making. Another aspect is timing. Doing actions at the same time each day reduces friction. Predictability supports consistency. The mind adapts to routine. Routine reduces effort. Effort saved can be used for deeper focus. This is why daily routines are powerful. Small actions also reduce fear. Large goals can feel intimidating. Small steps feel safe. Each completed step builds courage. Courage grows through action, not thought. Over time, confidence increases because fear is faced repeatedly in manageable ways. Discipline benefits from clear boundaries. Decide what the action is and when it happens. Avoid vague intentions. Clear actions are easier to repeat. Clarity removes ambiguity. Ambiguity creates delay. Delay weakens discipline. It is also useful to limit reliance on motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Discipline remains. Small actions do not require high motivation. They require commitment. Commitment is a decision. Decisions are within control. This distinction matters. Discipline strengthens resilience. Resilience is the ability to continue despite difficulty. Small daily actions train this ability. Each time effort continues despite discomfort, resilience increases. This prepares you for larger challenges. Another important point is forgiveness. Missing a day does not destroy discipline. Quitting does. Discipline includes the ability to resume without self-punishment. Harsh self-criticism weakens consistency. Calm correction strengthens it. The goal is continuation. Small actions also improve awareness. Repetition reveals patterns. You learn what supports consistency and what disrupts it. This awareness allows adjustment. Discipline evolves. It becomes smarter over time. Discipline influences identity. Identity shapes behavior. When you act consistently, you begin to see yourself as disciplined. This identity reinforces behavior. The cycle strengthens itself. This is how discipline becomes effortless. It is important to start with actions that are easy to complete. Difficulty can increase gradually. This progression protects consistency. Growth should be challenging but sustainable. Sustainable effort builds lasting strength. Small actions also protect against burnout. Burnout comes from excessive demand without recovery. Small actions require less energy. They allow recovery. Recovery maintains performance. This balance supports long-term progress. Another benefit is reduced procrastination. Procrastination thrives on large tasks. Small tasks reduce delay. Starting becomes easier. Once started, continuation often follows. Action reduces mental weight. Discipline also improves self-respect. Keeping commitments to yourself builds integrity. Integrity strengthens confidence. Confidence supports leadership in your own life. This internal leadership reduces dependence on external control. Daily repetition teaches patience. Patience is a skill. Small actions demand patience because results are delayed. This patience improves emotional regulation. It reduces frustration. Calm effort becomes normal. Discipline is not about denying pleasure. It is about choosing long benefit over short comfort. Small actions make this choice easier. The sacrifice feels minimal. Over time, benefits accumulate. This reinforces discipline. It is also important to protect discipline from overcomplication. Tools, systems, and tracking can help, but simplicity matters most. Focus on the action itself. Complexity can become an excuse to avoid effort. Discipline benefits from reflection. Briefly noticing what was completed reinforces behavior. Recognition builds motivation. This motivation supports continuation. Reflection does not need to be long. Awareness is enough. Small daily actions also improve decision-making. Consistency clarifies priorities. When priorities are clear, choices become easier. This reduces mental fatigue. Reduced fatigue supports discipline. Discipline shapes time use. Time is finite. How it is used reflects values. Small actions ensure that time serves growth rather than regret. This creates satisfaction. It is helpful to remember that discipline is freedom. Freedom from indecision. Freedom from regret. Freedom from emotional control. Small actions build this freedom gradually. Discipline also supports trust from others. Consistent behavior builds reliability. Reliability strengthens relationships. This benefit extends beyond personal growth. Another important aspect is humility. Small actions accept that growth takes time. This humility prevents frustration. It allows steady effort without constant comparison. Discipline strengthens mental toughness. Mental toughness is not aggression. It is steadiness. It is the ability to continue calmly. Small actions train this quality daily. Over time, discipline becomes less noticeable because it becomes natural. This is the goal. When effort feels normal, progress feels sustainable. Small actions repeated every day may seem simple. Their effect is not. They shape behavior, character, and future. They turn intention into reality. They build a life of quiet strength. Discipline does not demand perfection. It demands presence. Showing up daily, even briefly, is enough. Over time, these moments accumulate. Accumulation creates transformation. Strengthening discipline through small actions is not a temporary strategy. It is a way of living, a way of respecting time, a way of honoring potential, a way of building a future without abandoning the present. This approach works because it aligns with human nature. It respects limits while encouraging growth. It creates progress without chaos. It builds strength without cruelty. In the end, discipline is not something you force. It is something you practice. Each small action is a practice. Each day is an opportunity. Consistency turns effort into identity. Identity shapes destiny. Chapter 5. Invest time wisely by balancing joy, work, and rest. Investing time wisely by balancing joy, work, and rest is a skill that determines whether effort leads to growth or exhaustion. Time is limited, but energy is even more fragile. Many people spend time without intention, swinging between overwork and escape. Others confuse rest with avoidance or joy with distraction. A balanced life is not created by extremes. It is created by thoughtful use of time that respects effort, renewal, and meaning. Work gives structure. It provides purpose, progress, and self-respect. Joy gives lightness. It reminds you why effort matters. Rest restores capacity. It allows the mind and body to recover. When any one of these dominates, life becomes unstable. Too much work drains energy and dulls thinking. Too much joy without structure leads to stagnation. Too much rest without direction weakens discipline. Balance is not equal time. Balance is appropriate time. Time investment begins with awareness. Many people are busy but unfocused. They move through days reacting rather than choosing. Wise use of time starts by recognizing that every hour is a trade. Each choice strengthens one part of life while weakening another. This does not mean constant calculation. It means conscious direction. When time is spent intentionally, regret decreases. Work should be meaningful. Meaningful work is not always enjoyable, but it feels worthwhile. It contributes to growth, responsibility, or service. Work done without meaning becomes draining. It consumes time without building strength. Choosing work that aligns with values improves motivation and focus. Even difficult tasks feel lighter when purpose is clear. Joy is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Joy renews motivation. It keeps the spirit engaged. Without joy, discipline turns rigid. Joy does not require excess. Simple pleasures are enough. A walk, a conversation, music, or quiet reflection can restore balance. Joy should be chosen deliberately rather than used as an escape. Intentional joy refreshes rather than distracts. Rest is often misunderstood. Rest is not laziness. It is maintenance. Just as tools wear down without care, the mind and body lose effectiveness without rest. Rest improves clarity, patience, and decision-making. It protects long-term productivity. Ignoring rest may create short-term output but leads to long-term decline. Balancing these elements requires honesty. Ask whether time spent is supporting growth or draining it. This question guides adjustment. It does not require guilt. It requires clarity. Time misused can be redirected. Awareness is the first correction. A common mistake is treating rest as a reward only after exhaustion. This mindset creates cycles of burnout. Rest should be planned, not earned through collapse. Planned rest maintains performance. It allows steady effort without breakdown. This approach respects human limits. Joy also needs boundaries. Endless pleasure dulls satisfaction. When joy becomes constant stimulation, it loses meaning. Limiting joy increases appreciation. This is not deprivation, it is moderation. Moderation preserves pleasure. Work benefits from limits as well. Endless work erodes focus. Fatigue reduces quality. Setting clear work periods improves efficiency. Knowing when work ends allows deeper engagement during work time. Boundaries protect energy. Time invested wisely also considers season. Some periods demand more work. Others require recovery. Balance shifts. Awareness allows adjustment. Rigid schedules fail when life changes. Flexible structure endures. Another important aspect is presence. Time spent without presence is wasted. Working while distracted reduces quality. Resting while worrying prevents recovery. Enjoying joy while feeling guilty weakens pleasure. Presence improves all three areas. Presence is a skill practiced through attention. Small daily rituals help maintain balance. A consistent start to the day sets tone. A defined end protects rest. These rituals anchor behavior. They reduce decision fatigue. Simplicity supports consistency. It is also important to separate rest from avoidance. Avoidance feels like rest but leaves you unsettled. True rest restores. If after time off you feel more anxious or sluggish, it was likely avoidance. True rest leaves you clearer. Joy should not undermine goals. Choose activities that refresh without derailing discipline. This requires self-awareness. Some pleasures cost more than they give. Wise investment chooses joy that supports energy. Time balance improves emotional stability. When work, joy, and rest are aligned, mood becomes steadier. Extremes create volatility. Stability supports better decisions. Better decisions protect time. Another benefit is improved relationships. Balanced time allows presence with others. Overwork strains connection. Constant distraction weakens trust. Rested, focused individuals relate better. Relationships benefit from energy. Time invested wisely also supports creativity. Creativity requires space. Rest and joy create that space. Constant pressure suffocates insight. Balance allows ideas to emerge naturally. It is helpful to plan time loosely rather than rigidly. Identify priorities rather than exact hours. This allows adaptation. Planning direction matters more than precise scheduling. Direction prevents drift. Another practice is to review time use regularly. Notice patterns. Are you overworking? Avoiding rest. Escaping into distraction. Awareness allows course correction. Correction prevents long-term imbalance. Balancing time also requires courage. Saying no to unnecessary demands protects rest. Saying no to excessive pleasure protects discipline. Boundaries require strength. Strength grows through practice. Time wisely invested supports long growth. Burnout destroys momentum. Balance preserves it. This is not about comfort. It is about sustainability. Sustainable effort outperforms intense bursts. Joy connects effort to meaning. Without joy, work feels endless. Joy reminds you that life is more than productivity. This perspective prevents bitterness. Rest supports health. Health supports effort. Effort supports goals. The cycle depends on rest. Ignoring rest breaks the chain. Work provides progress. Progress builds confidence. Confidence improves enjoyment. Enjoyment fuels effort. Balance creates positive loops. It is also important to avoid comparing time use with others. Everyone has different capacities and responsibilities. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure distorts balance. Focus on personal needs. Balancing joy, work, and rest is not static. It evolves. Awareness allows adjustment. Adjustment maintains alignment. Time invested wisely reduces regret. Regret often comes from neglect. Neglect of health, relationships, or growth. Balance prevents neglect. This approach also builds self-respect. Respect comes from honoring limits and responsibilities. Balanced time reflects maturity. When time is balanced, effort feels lighter, not because work disappears, but because recovery exists. This creates resilience. Wise time use also improves learning. Rest consolidates memory. Joy increases curiosity. Work applies knowledge. Together they support growth. It is important to remove guilt from rest and joy. Guilt poisons recovery. Rest taken with guilt is ineffective. Joy enjoyed with guilt loses value. Choose consciously and commit fully. Balancing time requires discipline. Discipline protects rest as much as work. Discipline chooses long benefit over impulse. Over time, balance becomes intuitive. The body signals fatigue. The mind signals overload. Awareness allows response. Ignoring signals leads to breakdown. A balanced life is not perfect. Some days tilt. Balance is about correction, not precision. Returning to center matters more than staying there constantly. Investing time wisely is an act of self-leadership. It shows respect for energy, purpose, and future. This leadership creates stability. When joy, work, and rest support each other, life feels whole. Effort feels meaningful. Rest feels earned but not conditional. Joy feels clean. This balance allows progress without sacrifice of well-being. It builds strength without bitterness. It creates a life that can be sustained. Time is spent either building or draining. Balance ensures building continues. This is how growth lasts. Invest time wisely and life responds with clarity, energy, and quiet satisfaction. Chapter 6a. Commit fully to today's tasks without abandoning tomorrow's plans. Committing fully to today's tasks without abandoning tomorrow's plans is a discipline of presence and foresight working together. Many people struggle because their attention is split. They worry about the future while working in the present, or they focus only on today while neglecting what comes next. Both patterns weaken progress. Real effectiveness comes from giving full attention to what is in front of you while keeping a steady awareness of where you are going. Today is the only place where action can happen. Tomorrow is only an idea until it becomes today. When attention drifts too far ahead, effort loses quality. Tasks feel rushed or incomplete. Mistakes increase. Satisfaction disappears. Fully committing to today means showing up mentally, not just physically. It means doing the work with care rather than rushing through it to get it over with. Quality matters because it builds skill, confidence, and reliability. At the same time, ignoring tomorrow creates problems. Without future awareness, effort becomes short-sighted. Decisions made only for immediate comfort often create long-term difficulty. Planning protects against this. Planning does not mean obsessing over every detail. It means holding a clear direction so that today's actions support future stability rather than undermine it. The balance begins with clarity. Each day should have a small number of important tasks. These tasks should matter. When everything feels urgent, nothing receives proper attention. Choosing a few priorities reduces mental noise. With fewer tasks, commitment increases. Attention deepens. Completion becomes more likely. Committing fully also means removing distraction. Distraction fragments effort. Fragmented effort feels tiring without producing progress. Protecting focus is an act of respect for time. This does not require isolation. It requires intention. When working, work. When resting, rest. Mixing the two weakens both. Another challenge is anxiety about the future. Anxiety pulls attention away from the present. It creates mental tension. Planning reduces this tension by creating structure. When tomorrow is acknowledged through planning, the mind relaxes. It no longer needs to constantly worry. This frees attention for today's work. Planning should be simple. Over-planning becomes avoidance. The goal is direction, not control. A short review of upcoming responsibilities is enough. Once tomorrow is considered, attention should return to the present. This rhythm maintains balance. Commitment to today also means accepting limits. You cannot complete everything at once. Trying to do so leads to rushed effort and mistakes. Accepting limits allows realistic pacing. Pacing protects energy. Energy supports consistency. Another important aspect is finishing what you start. Leaving tasks half done creates mental clutter. Clutter drains focus. Completing tasks provides closure. Closure creates calm. Calm improves attention for the next task. It is also useful to separate planning time from execution time. Planning during work interrupts flow. Flow requires immersion. Immersion improves quality. Set aside time to plan, then commit to execution without reconsideration. This reduces hesitation. Many people delay commitment because they fear making the wrong choice. This fear leads to indecision. Indecision wastes time. Commitment does not require certainty. It requires responsibility. Adjustments can be made later. Action now is more valuable than perfect planning. Commitment also builds trust with yourself. Each time you complete today's tasks as planned, self-trust increases. This trust reduces resistance in the future. Resistance often comes from past inconsistency. Reliability builds confidence. Another obstacle is perfectionism. Perfectionism delays completion. It demands unrealistic standards. Commitment means aiming for solid effort rather than flawless performance. Improvement comes through repetition, not perfection. It is important to recognize that tomorrow's plans exist to support today's actions, not distract from them. Plans are guides. They are not reasons to postpone effort. When plans become excuses, progress stops. A helpful practice is to end each day by preparing lightly for the next. This could mean listing priorities or organizing tools. This small act respects tomorrow without stealing attention from today. It creates continuity. Commitment to today also requires emotional discipline. Emotions fluctuate. Some days feel heavy. Commitment means acting despite mood. This strengthens resilience. Resilience allows steady progress through varying conditions. Another benefit of present commitment is improved learning. When attention is focused, learning deepens. Skills develop faster. Rushed work limits growth. Careful work compounds over time. Planning for tomorrow should consider recovery. Tomorrow's plans should include rest when needed. Ignoring recovery leads to diminishing returns. Sustainable planning respects energy cycles. It is also helpful to avoid multitasking. Multitasking divides attention. Divided attention reduces quality. Single task focus improves efficiency. Efficiency saves time. Saved time supports balance. Commitment means accepting responsibility for outcomes without becoming attached to them. Do your best today. Release control over results. This stoic approach reduces stress. Stress impairs performance. Another practical approach is time blocking. Assigning periods for specific tasks reduces uncertainty. When time is defined, commitment increases. The mind knows when effort begins and ends. This clarity reduces resistance. It is important to guard against procrastination disguised as planning. Excessive planning delays action. Planning should enable movement, not replace it. Once direction is set, move forward. Commitment also involves saying no to unnecessary interruptions. Interruptions break flow. Protecting time requires boundaries. Boundaries communicate respect for your work. Present focus improves satisfaction. Satisfaction increases motivation. Motivation supports consistency. This positive loop strengthens progress. Tomorrow's plans should be flexible. Life changes. Flexibility prevents frustration. Rigid plans create stress when disrupted. Flexible plans adapt while maintaining direction. Another benefit of balanced commitment is reduced overwhelm. Overwhelm comes from trying to hold everything in mind. Planning stores future concerns externally. This frees mental space. Committing fully to today builds craftsmanship. Craftsmanship values quality. Quality builds pride. If pride strengthens discipline, it is also useful to measure days by effort rather than output. Output varies. Effort reflects commitment. Focusing on effort maintains morale during slow progress. Commitment to today prevents regret. Regret often comes from knowing time was wasted. Honest effort removes this feeling. Even if results are delayed, effort brings peace. Planning for tomorrow prevents panic. Panic arises from unpreparedness. Preparation builds confidence. Confidence supports calm action. The balance between today and tomorrow teaches patience. Patience accepts that progress unfolds over time. This reduces urgency that leads to mistakes. It also teaches presence. Presence improves relationships. Being fully engaged in conversations strengthens connection. Planning allows mental space for presence. Commitment shapes identity. You become someone who finishes tasks and plans ahead. This identity influences future choices. It is important to avoid living only in preparation mode. Life happens now. Plans are tools, not destinations. Commitment honors the present moment. Another practical habit is reviewing progress weekly rather than daily. Daily focus stays on tasks. Weekly review adjusts direction. This separation maintains clarity. Committing fully to today also reduces fear of the future. Fear thrives on uncertainty. Planning reduces uncertainty. Action reduces fear. Balance is achieved when today receives full attention and tomorrow receives thoughtful preparation. Neither is neglected. Neither dominates. This approach builds steady progress. It avoids burnout and stagnation. It creates a rhythm of action and foresight. In the long run, this discipline shapes a life of reliability and calm strength. Work is done with care. The future is approached with readiness. The present is lived with intention. Commit fully to today because it is real. Respect tomorrow because it will arrive. Hold both without conflict. This balance creates progress without chaos and purpose without pressure. Chapter 7c. Develop resilience by responding calmly to setbacks and pressure. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build through the way you respond when things do not go as planned. Most people believe resilience appears after success, but it is actually formed during difficulty. It grows in moments when pressure is high and the outcome is uncertain. The strongest people are not those who avoid setbacks, but those who remain steady when setbacks arrive. Calm responses do not happen by accident. They are trained through awareness, patience, and repeated choices to stay grounded. When pressure shows up, the body reacts first. The heart speeds up, breathing becomes shallow, and the mind rushes to worst-case thinking. Resilience begins when you notice this reaction instead of being controlled by it. The moment you pause and slow your breathing, you interrupt panic. You give yourself space to choose a response instead of reacting on impulse. Calmness is not weakness. It is control. It allows you to see clearly instead of being blinded by emotion. Setbacks often feel personal even when they are not. A delayed result, a missed opportunity, or a critical comment can trigger self-doubt. Resilient people do not deny these feelings. They acknowledge them without letting them decide the next action. They understand that emotions pass, but decisions create consequences. By allowing emotions to exist without acting on them immediately, you protect your progress from temporary storms. Pressure tests focus. When everything feels urgent, it becomes easy to lose direction. Resilience means returning to what matters instead of chasing every distraction. This does not require dramatic effort. It requires simple grounding habits. One clear task, one controlled breath, one steady step forward. Calm focus under pressure is built by repeatedly choosing simplicity over chaos. Mistakes are unavoidable. What matters is the interpretation you give them. If every mistake becomes proof that you are failing, resilience weakens. If mistakes are treated as information, resilience strengthens. Calm reflection allows learning. Emotional reactions block insight. When you approach setbacks with curiosity instead of judgment, you turn obstacles into guidance. Resilience also means refusing to rush recovery. After disappointment, many people force themselves to move on too quickly or sink into avoidance. Neither builds strength. Calm resilience accepts the pause. It allows rest without guilt and action without desperation. This balance keeps energy stable and prevents burnout. Recovery is not retreat. It is preparation. Pressure often comes from expectations, both external and internal. Resilient people learn to separate effort from outcome. They commit fully to what they can control and release obsession with results. This reduces anxiety and increases consistency. Calm commitment creates endurance. Emotional attachment creates exhaustion. By focusing on process, resilience grows quietly but steadily. Communication plays a role in resilience as well. Under pressure, words can either escalate or stabilize a situation. Calm responses lower tension. Listening before reacting builds trust. Choosing clarity over defensiveness preserves relationships. Resilience is not only personal strength, it is also the ability to maintain connection during difficulty. Self-talk becomes louder during setbacks. The tone of this inner voice shapes resilience. Harsh criticism weakens resolve. Calm, honest dialogue strengthens it. This does not mean false positivity. It means realistic encouragement. Acknowledging what went wrong while reminding yourself that progress is still possible keeps momentum alive. Resilience is supported by truth spoken with patience. Time perspective matters. Pressure feels heavier when viewed only in the moment. Calm resilience widens the lens. It recognizes that today's difficulty is part of a longer journey. This does not minimize the challenge. It places it in context. When you understand that growth includes discomfort, pressure loses its power to overwhelm. Resilient people also practice controlled exposure to stress. They do not avoid difficulty entirely, nor do they seek chaos. They choose challenges that stretch without breaking them. Each time you face manageable pressure and remain calm, confidence increases. This confidence is not loud. It is steady. It shows up as trust in your ability to handle whatever comes next. Sleep, nutrition, and movement support emotional regulation more than most people realize. Calm responses are harder when the body is depleted. Resilience is physical as well as mental. Caring for your body strengthens your capacity to stay composed. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency. Small supportive habits reduce emotional volatility. Boundaries protect resilience. Constant exposure to negativity, comparison, or unnecessary conflict drains calmness. Choosing when to engage and when to step back preserves energy. This is not avoidance. It is intentional focus. Resilient people know that not every battle deserves attention. Resilience deepens through reflection. After pressure passes, reviewing how you responded builds awareness. Noticing what helped you stay calm and what increased stress improves future responses. Growth happens when experience is examined, not when it is ignored. Calm review turns setbacks into training. Over time, resilience changes identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who can handle difficulty. This belief reduces fear before challenges even begin. Calmness becomes familiar. Pressure no longer feels threatening. It becomes a signal to slow down, focus, and act with intention. True resilience is quiet. It does not announce itself. It shows up as steady effort, controlled emotion, and thoughtful response. It is built through daily choices to remain grounded when things go wrong. Every calm response strengthens the next one. Every setback handled with patience increases confidence. Resilience is not about never struggling. It is about choosing stability when struggle appears and continuing forward with clarity and control. Chapter 80. Practice gratitude daily to stay grounded and motivated. Gratitude is not a passive emotion or a polite response to good fortune. It is an active mental practice that shapes how you experience each day. When practiced daily, gratitude anchors you in reality instead of allowing your mind to drift toward constant dissatisfaction. It does not ignore problems or pretend that everything is perfect. It simply reminds you that progress, effort, and meaning already exist in your life, even while challenges remain. This grounding effect keeps motivation stable rather than dependent on temporary wins. Most people wait for life to improve before they feel grateful. This approach keeps them stuck in a cycle of frustration. Gratitude works in the opposite direction. It improves perception first, which then improves energy and persistence. When you regularly notice what is working, you strengthen your ability to keep going. Motivation becomes internal instead of reactive. You stop chasing constant validation and start drawing strength from awareness. Daily gratitude sharpens attention. The mind naturally scans for problems because it is designed for survival. Without guidance, it overemphasizes lack, comparison, and threat. Gratitude redirects attention toward balance. It trains the brain to notice effort, support, opportunity, and growth. This does not make you complacent. It makes you more effective by reducing mental noise that drains focus. Staying grounded means staying connected to the present moment. Gratitude pulls you out of regret about the past and anxiety about the future. It brings awareness back to what is real right now. This presence improves decision-making. You act from clarity instead of urgency. Motivation rooted in presence lasts longer than motivation driven by fear or pressure. Gratitude also protects against burnout. When effort goes unnoticed, exhaustion builds. When you acknowledge small wins, energy renews. Progress often happens quietly. Without recognition, it feels invisible. Gratitude makes progress visible. It reminds you that consistency matters even when results are slow. This recognition keeps momentum alive during long stretches of effort. The practice does not require dramatic gestures. Simple acknowledgement is enough. Recognizing a completed task, a supportive interaction, or a moment of calm reinforces purpose. These small acknowledgements accumulate. Over time, they change emotional tone. Motivation becomes steadier. Stress becomes more manageable. You begin to trust the process instead of constantly questioning it. Gratitude strengthens resilience. When setbacks occur, grateful awareness provides balance. It does not deny disappointment. It prevents despair. By remembering what remains intact, you reduce emotional extremes. This stability allows quicker recovery. Motivation returns sooner because hope is not lost. Gratitude keeps setbacks from defining your entire experience. Comparison weakens motivation. Gratitude counteracts comparison by bringing focus back to personal progress. When you appreciate your own effort, external standards lose power. You stop measuring worth by others' achievements. This creates freedom to move at your own pace without losing drive. Motivation becomes self-directed rather than competitive. Gratitude also deepens meaning. Work without meaning feels heavy. When you connect effort to values through appreciation, purpose becomes clear. You remember why you started. This memory fuels persistence. Motivation grounded in purpose withstands difficulty better than motivation based on reward alone. Practicing gratitude does not mean avoiding ambition. It means balancing ambition with contentment. This balance prevents impatience. You continue striving while appreciating where you are. This dual awareness reduces frustration. You no longer feel that happiness is postponed until success arrives. Motivation improves because the journey itself feels worthwhile. Emotional regulation improves through gratitude. Acknowledging positive elements softens emotional spikes. Calmness increases. Focus sharpens. Motivation flows more easily when emotions are stable. Gratitude acts as an emotional anchor during stressful days. It keeps perspective intact when pressure rises. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. Appreciating others fosters connection. Support feels real instead of assumed. Motivation increases when you feel connected rather than isolated. Even independent goals benefit from a sense of shared humanity. Gratitude reminds you that effort exists within a larger network of support. Consistency matters more than intensity. Gratitude practiced briefly each day creates lasting change. It becomes a mental habit that operates automatically. Over time, this habit influences how you interpret events. Challenges appear manageable. Effort feels meaningful. Motivation becomes less fragile. Gratitude does not eliminate desire for improvement. It refines it. You pursue growth from a place of stability instead of dissatisfaction. This shift reduces internal conflict. You no longer fight yourself to stay motivated. Motivation aligns naturally with values. Acknowledging progress builds confidence. Confidence reinforces motivation. Gratitude highlights capability instead of deficiency. This does not inflate ego. It builds trust in your ability to continue. Motivation grows when you believe effort matters. Gratitude also encourages patience. Recognizing incremental growth reduces the urge to rush. Patience protects quality. Motivation stays consistent because you are not constantly disappointed by unrealistic timelines. Gratitude aligns expectations with reality. The practice strengthens self-respect. When you acknowledge your own discipline, courage, and persistence, self-trust increases. This trust fuels motivation during uncertainty. You rely less on external encouragement and more on inner stability. Gratitude keeps goals human. It reminds you that progress includes rest, learning, and adjustment. This perspective prevents harsh self-judgment. Motivation survives mistakes because compassion remains present. Over time, gratitude reshapes identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who notices value, effort, and meaning. This identity supports sustained motivation. You become less reactive and more intentional. Grounded motivation becomes your default state. Gratitude does not require perfect circumstances. It thrives in ordinary moments. This accessibility makes it powerful. You do not need to wait for success to feel motivated. Motivation grows alongside appreciation. Practicing gratitude daily is not about optimism alone. It is about clarity. It helps you see what is real without distortion. This clarity stabilizes emotion, strengthens purpose, and supports consistent effort. When gratitude becomes routine, motivation no longer depends on mood. It becomes a steady force. You move forward because you recognize value in effort itself. Grounded motivation lasts. It does not burn out quickly. It carries you through quiet days and difficult seasons with patience and resolve. In the end, gratitude is not a reward for success. It is a tool for endurance. It keeps you rooted, aware, and moving forward with intention. Through daily practice, it transforms effort into meaning and motivation into something sustainable and calm. Chapter 9Z. Learn continuously through reading, reflection, and skill building. Continuous learning is not about collecting information or chasing credentials. It is about staying mentally alive. When learning becomes a daily practice, the mind stays flexible, alert, and capable of adapting to change. Life does not slow down to wait for understanding. The ability to learn steadily allows you to meet new situations without panic or resistance. Growth becomes a normal response instead of a forced reaction. Learning begins with humility. It requires accepting that no matter how much you know, there is always more to understand. This acceptance is not weakness. It is strength. It keeps the ego quiet and the mind open. When you release the need to appear knowledgeable, you gain the freedom to improve. Progress depends on curiosity more than confidence. Reading is one of the simplest ways to stay engaged with ideas beyond your immediate experience. It allows you to borrow insight without paying the full cost of trial and error. A few pages a day can quietly reshape thinking over time. The goal is not speed or volume. The goal is exposure to perspectives that challenge assumptions and expand awareness. Even brief reading sessions accumulate into significant mental growth. Reflection turns information into understanding. Without reflection, learning stays shallow. Reflection asks simple questions. What did this teach? How does it apply? What needs adjustment? This process slows the mind just enough to extract value. Reflection prevents learning from becoming passive consumption. It transforms reading and experience into practical insight. Skill building connects thought to action. Knowledge without application fades quickly. Skills require repetition. They demand patience. Each attempt reveals gaps that information alone cannot show. Building skills strengthens confidence through evidence rather than belief. Competence grows from consistent effort, not sudden mastery. Continuous learning requires structure. Waiting for motivation leads to inconsistency. Learning thrives when integrated into routine. A short reading window, a brief reflection period, a regular practice session. These anchors remove friction. Learning becomes part of daily rhythm instead of an optional activity. Learning also requires focus. Scattered attention weakens retention. Choosing a few areas to develop creates depth. Depth leads to usefulness. Surface familiarity rarely changes behavior. Focused learning creates clarity. It allows progress to be measured through improved performance rather than abstract understanding. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Avoiding error slows growth. Each mistake provides feedback. Feedback guides correction. This cycle builds resilience. Learning becomes less emotional and more practical. Detachment from perfection allows steady improvement. Learning strengthens decision-making. Better understanding leads to better choices. Reading exposes consequences. Reflection clarifies values. Skill building increases capability. Together, these elements reduce impulsive behavior. Decisions become more deliberate and informed. Learning also sharpens awareness. You begin to notice patterns. Situations feel less random. Experience connects more easily to insight. This awareness improves timing and judgment. Actions align more closely with reality. Continuous learning supports independence. When you can acquire new skills, you rely less on circumstances remaining stable. Adaptability becomes a form of security. Change feels manageable instead of threatening. This confidence encourages initiative. Learning requires discipline. Inspiration alone fades. Discipline ensures continuity. Small, consistent effort compounds quietly. Over time, understanding deepens without dramatic effort. The process feels sustainable rather than overwhelming. Learning should remain practical. Abstract knowledge has limited value if it does not influence behavior. Each lesson should answer a simple question. How does this improve daily life? Practical relevance keeps learning grounded. Learning also requires patience. Progress may feel slow. Insight develops gradually. Skill improves unevenly. Accepting this pace prevents frustration. Patience protects consistency. Consistency produces results. Learning benefits from repetition. Revisiting ideas strengthens retention. Each repetition reveals new layers. Understanding evolves as experience grows. What once seemed theoretical becomes relevant through application. Learning should challenge comfort. Growth occurs at the edge of ability. Staying within familiar material limits development. Controlled difficulty builds confidence. Stretching effort slightly beyond comfort encourages progress. Learning also involves unlearning. Some beliefs become outdated. Some habits lose usefulness. Releasing them creates space for better approaches. Unlearning requires honesty. It strengthens adaptability. Learning deepens self-awareness. Through reflection, you observe patterns in thought and behavior. Awareness allows adjustment. Adjustment leads to improvement. This cycle supports personal growth. Learning supports long-term thinking. Understanding systems and consequences encourages patience. Short-term reactions decrease. Planning improves. Learning shifts focus from immediate results to lasting progress. Learning improves communication. Reading expands language. Reflection clarifies expression. Skill building enhances delivery. Clear communication strengthens relationships and leadership. Learning builds quiet confidence. Confidence based on growth feels stable. It does not require constant comparison. Improvement becomes personal rather than competitive. Learning also supports emotional regulation. Understanding emotions reduces their control. Reflection creates space between stimulus and response. Skill building includes managing stress and attention. Learning encourages responsibility. When you understand cause and effect, excuses lose power, ownership increases, growth becomes intentional. Learning remains accessible at any stage of life. Age does not limit curiosity. Experience enriches understanding. Continuous learning keeps perspective fresh. Learning requires boundaries. Too much information overwhelms. Selectivity improves quality. Choosing reliable sources saves energy. Focused learning respects time. Learning benefits from teaching others. Explaining concepts clarifies understanding. Teaching reveals gaps. Sharing knowledge reinforces retention. Learning strengthens purpose. Growth aligns effort with values. Direction becomes clearer. Motivation increases through meaning rather than pressure. Learning integrates past experience with future goals. Reflection connects lessons. Skill building prepares for challenges. Reading provides foresight. Learning becomes a mindset. Every situation offers insight. Success teaches refinement. Difficulty teaches resilience. Life becomes an ongoing classroom. Learning does not require dramatic change. Small daily effort is enough. A few pages, a short reflection, a brief practice. These actions compound quietly. Learning fosters adaptability. New environments feel navigable. Uncertainty becomes manageable. Confidence grows through capability. Learning supports self-respect. Investing in growth signals commitment to improvement. This commitment strengthens identity. Learning prevents stagnation. Without growth, effort feels repetitive. Learning refreshes perspective. Motivation renews. Learning transforms time into value. Each day contributes to understanding. Progress accumulates. Life feels purposeful. Learning builds a strong inner foundation. Knowledge, insight, and skill support wise action. This foundation remains stable through change. Learning is not about perfection. It is about progression. Each step forward matters. Continuous learning keeps the mind active, the character strong, and the future open. Through reading, reflection, and skill building, growth becomes deliberate and steady. This commitment ensures that effort today strengthens capability tomorrow. Chapter 1: Protect your energy by setting clear boundaries every day. Protecting your energy is not about avoiding responsibility or isolating yourself from the world. It is about understanding that energy is a limited resource that fuels focus, creativity, and resilience. Without intentional protection, energy can be drained by distractions, demands, and obligations that do not align with purpose. Setting clear boundaries daily is a practical strategy to safeguard this resource. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that allow you to engage fully without depletion. They define how much time, attention, and emotion you invest in situations and people, and they ensure that your energy is spent on what truly matters. Many people feel obligated to say yes constantly. They fear disappointment, rejection, or conflict. This habit leads to exhaustion and frustration. Saying yes indiscriminately does not make you more valuable. It makes you less effective. Clear boundaries allow you to say yes to priorities and no to distractions without guilt. Boundaries are acts of self-respect. They signal that your energy has limits and that you intend to invest it wisely. Establishing boundaries begins with awareness. Observe where your energy leaks. Notice which activities or interactions leave you depleted. Are certain conversations draining? Do tasks consume more time than they should? Awareness reveals patterns. Once recognized, you can decide which interactions to limit, which tasks to delegate, and which activities to adjust. Boundaries also require clarity. People respond better when expectations are communicated directly. Vague limits invite misunderstanding and friction. Clearly stating what is acceptable and what is not prevents unnecessary stress. For example, setting work hours or personal time for focused activity communicates priority without hostility. Clarity creates respect from others and reinforces your own sense of control. Daily practice matters more than occasional enforcement. Boundaries must be consistent. If you enforce limits sporadically, people will test them. If you respect them yourself inconsistently, your energy will suffer. Consistency builds a framework that allows your focus to remain strong. Over time, boundaries become intuitive and require less effort to maintain. Boundaries are not selfish. They protect your capacity to contribute effectively. Without energy, productivity, presence, and creativity diminish. Protecting your energy allows you to serve, perform, and engage with clarity. Energy is currency, spend it where it counts. Saying no to one task frees space for high-value actions elsewhere. Technology is one of the largest energy drains. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, and perpetual connectivity fragment attention. Boundaries around technology, such as setting specific times for emails or social media, preserve energy. These limits allow focused work and genuine relaxation. Without boundaries, energy is consumed by things that produce little value. Emotional energy is also finite. Relationships can uplift or drain. Protecting energy does not mean cutting people off arbitrarily. It means noticing when interactions are harmful, manipulative, or excessively demanding. Setting boundaries in relationships can involve limiting time, controlling topics of discussion, or choosing not to engage when emotional labor is excessive. These actions maintain stability and prevent burnout. Work demands often expand to fill the time available. Boundaries prevent this expansion. Defining clear start and end times for tasks ensures that energy is not wasted. Breaks are part of boundaries as well. Short, intentional pauses restore focus and prevent mental fatigue. Discipline in maintaining work boundaries directly impacts long-term productivity. Boundaries also reinforce priorities. When you know what matters most, saying no to lesser demands becomes natural. Energy follows intention. Each decision to protect your attention ensures alignment with purpose. Boundaries act as a filter for effort, preventing distraction and misalignment. It is important to respect your own energy before expecting others to do so. Many people demand energy from themselves but fail to maintain limits. This leads to inconsistency, stress, and resentment. By practicing self-discipline, you teach others how to interact with you. Energy protection becomes a habit rather than a struggle. Boundaries can be physical, temporal, or emotional. Physical boundaries include space and environment, limiting access to distractions, creating dedicated areas for focus, and maintaining personal space preserves energy. Temporal boundaries involve time. Scheduling when you work, rest, or socialize ensures that energy is allocated intentionally. Emotional boundaries involve how much mental and emotional attention you offer. Protecting emotional energy prevents overextension and improves clarity. Learning to enforce boundaries requires courage. Some will resist or test your limits. Maintaining firmness without aggression is key. Calmly upholding boundaries strengthens your authority and preserves mental clarity. Each time you enforce limits, your confidence and energy retention increase. Boundaries also reduce stress. Constant exposure to external demands without limit creates mental strain. Stress diminishes focus and motivation. Setting clear limits prevents overload. Energy is conserved, allowing higher quality effort in work, relationships, and personal growth. Boundaries encourage reflection. At the end of each day, reviewing how energy was spent identifies successes and gaps. Were limits respected? Where did energy leak? Adjustments improve future days. This continuous improvement keeps energy management dynamic and effective. Boundaries enhance creativity. When energy is protected, the mind has capacity to generate ideas, solve problems, and innovate. Depletion reduces imagination and analytical power. A protected mental state allows deeper engagement with tasks and more insightful solutions. Boundaries are flexible within reason. Life demands adaptation, but core limits should remain intact. Flexibility allows responsiveness without surrendering control. Energy remains guarded while allowing natural variation. Protecting energy fosters resilience. Energy becomes a buffer against pressure. When limits are respected, setbacks feel less overwhelming. Mental clarity improves. Response becomes measured instead of reactive. Boundaries create a stable platform from which resilience can grow. Boundaries also promote self-awareness. Choosing where to invest energy forces evaluation of values, goals, and priorities. Over time, this reflection sharpens understanding of what is important and what is expendable. This insight informs better decisions and higher quality effort. Energy protection improves health. Chronic stress and overextension impact physical well-being. Boundaries allow rest, sleep, and recovery. Sustained energy supports long-term performance and life satisfaction. Boundaries create freedom within structure. Many confuse limits with restriction. In reality, boundaries release energy from chaos and mismanagement. Structure allows creativity, focus, and meaningful engagement. Boundary practice also improves communication. Stating limits clearly models assertiveness. Others learn to respect your time and attention. Mutual respect reduces conflict and protects mental energy. Daily repetition strengthens the habit. Each time boundaries are applied, energy becomes more stable. The brain recognizes limits as natural rather than negotiable. Over weeks and months, the effort to maintain boundaries diminishes while benefits compound. Protecting energy is not about avoiding responsibility, it is about preserving the capacity to act intentionally. Without limits, effort is diluted. With boundaries, effort concentrates on what matters. Focused energy produces results that scattered energy cannot. Boundaries improve consistency. They prevent emotional and mental spikes that lead to fatigue. Energy conservation becomes predictable. Consistent energy enables consistent progress. Boundaries also enhance confidence. When limits are respected, decision-making improves. Choices feel easier because energy is available to evaluate, plan, and act. Every day offers an opportunity to review and adjust limits. Energy fluctuates with environment, health, and obligations. Active management ensures protection remains effective. This attention strengthens awareness and intentionality. By setting clear boundaries each day, energy becomes an asset rather than a liability. Focus, motivation, and resilience flourish. Work, relationships, and personal growth improve. Energy protection transforms effort into sustainable progress. Chapter 11. Take bold responsibility for choices shaping your long future. Taking bold responsibility for the choices that shape your long future begins with the realization that every decision you make carries consequences beyond the immediate moment. Many people live reactively, allowing circumstances or other people to dictate their path. This mindset may feel safe or convenient, but it leaves the future vulnerable to randomness and missed potential. Responsibility is not about blame, it is about ownership. It is the conscious acknowledgement that your actions, habits, and decisions compound over time to create either stability or chaos. Bold responsibility requires courage because it means accepting that success or failure is directly linked to what you choose to do today. The first step is honesty. You must honestly assess where your life stands and what role your past choices have played in creating the present reality. This is not a judgment session, but a fact-finding mission. Recognizing patterns, strengths, weaknesses, and the consequences of past decisions allows for informed action moving forward. Without this clarity, future choices are made blindly, and momentum is lost. Responsibility begins when you stop blaming circumstance and start analyzing the impact of your own actions. Once clarity is established, decision-making becomes deliberate rather than automatic. Bold responsibility demands that choices are guided by long-term vision instead of immediate comfort or convenience. Short-term gratification is tempting because it offers instant reward, but it rarely produces meaningful progress. Choosing actions aligned with long-term goals strengthens character, builds momentum, and creates opportunities that would otherwise remain unrealized. Each decision becomes a building block for a future shaped intentionally rather than left to chance. Discipline is a critical partner in this process. Responsibility without follow-through is meaningless. Consistency transforms intention into results. Daily choices, when repeated over time, accumulate into significant outcomes. Bold responsibility requires following through even when motivation wanes, circumstances shift, or distractions arise. Each act of follow-through reinforces confidence in your ability to control your trajectory. Taking responsibility also means accepting the consequences of choices without excuse. Avoiding accountability for mistakes erodes trust in yourself and weakens the ability to make better decisions in the future. Confronting the results of your actions, positive or negative, teaches lessons that cannot be learned any other way. Resisting the urge to rationalize poor decisions develops integrity and strengthens decision-making muscles. Courage is born through consistent ownership of outcomes. Future-focused responsibility requires evaluating risks thoughtfully. Bold decisions are not reckless. They involve weighing potential benefits against potential costs. Anticipating consequences allows you to choose actions that advance long-term goals while managing avoidable setbacks. Risk assessment is part of ownership because it acknowledges that decisions have weight beyond the immediate moment. Preparedness increases confidence and reduces unnecessary anxiety. Habits are a critical aspect of responsible living. Small, repeated behaviors define the trajectory of your life more than occasional large decisions. Taking responsibility for habit formation ensures that daily routines reinforce growth rather than diminish it. Choices about sleep, nutrition, learning, social interactions, and work ethic all accumulate over years. Bold responsibility is expressed in the daily commitment to habits that protect and build your future rather than drain it. Financial decisions are another key area where responsibility matters. How you earn, save, invest, and spend shapes long-term freedom. Avoiding financial accountability limits opportunities and creates unnecessary stress. Being proactive with resources ensures that choices today support security and potential tomorrow. Bold responsibility includes educating yourself about money, making deliberate plans, and following them consistently. Time management is inseparable from responsible living. Every hour spent is an opportunity to shape outcomes. Treat time as a limited and precious resource. Bold responsibility is reflected in the intentional use of time for growth, rest, and contribution rather than distraction, procrastination, or meaningless business. Being deliberate with time protects future options and strengthens control over outcomes. Relationships are influenced by responsibility as well. Choosing carefully whom to trust, support, and collaborate with has long-term effects. Surrounding yourself with individuals who encourage growth, integrity, and resilience reinforces your ability to make powerful choices. Bold responsibility extends to the influence you have on others. The way you act, communicate, and support those around you shapes outcomes collectively. Emotional responsibility is equally important. Reacting impulsively or letting emotion dictate decisions undermines long-term stability. Bold responsibility requires recognizing emotional states, pausing before acting, and responding intentionally. Emotional mastery ensures that choices are grounded in reason and values rather than fleeting feelings. Self-awareness and regulation reinforce ownership of consequences. Vision is the guiding framework for responsible decisions. A clear understanding of where you want to go informs what choices are necessary now. Without vision, responsibility lacks direction and decisions become random. Defining values and goals creates a filter for action. Each choice can then be evaluated through the lens of alignment with long-term objectives. This ensures that effort compounds in meaningful ways over time. Bold responsibility requires resisting the temptation to delay difficult decisions. Postponing action may feel safer, but it often results in greater challenges later. Facing decisions decisively, even when uncomfortable, accelerates progress and strengthens character. Responsibility grows when you embrace discomfort rather than avoid it. Action creates learning, momentum, and confidence. Self-reflection is a daily practice that supports responsible living. Regularly reviewing choices and their outcomes allows for adjustment and improvement. Reflection ensures that patterns of behavior remain aligned with goals and values. It is a feedback loop that transforms experience into insight. Without reflection, responsibility becomes passive rather than active. Responsibility also means creating contingency plans. Life is unpredictable. Being prepared for setbacks is not avoidance, it is foresight. Considering alternative paths allows for flexibility without sacrificing accountability. Bold responsibility balances proactive planning with adaptability, ensuring that unexpected challenges do not derail progress. Courage is central to taking responsibility. Owning decisions exposes you to criticism, failure, and uncertainty. Bold individuals accept these risks because they understand that avoiding responsibility limits potential. Courage reinforces persistence, resilience, and integrity. Each courageous choice builds trust in your own ability to shape the future. Learning from others accelerates responsible growth. Seeking mentorship, guidance, and perspective provides insight that reduces avoidable mistakes. Responsibility is not arrogance. It recognizes the value of external input while retaining ownership of final decisions. Guidance improves judgment and decision-making capacity. Persistence strengthens responsibility. Not every choice yields immediate results. Long-term progress requires maintaining consistent effort despite setbacks. Bold responsibility is reflected in the ability to continue acting in alignment with values and vision, even when results lag or challenges intensify. Responsibility shapes identity. Over time, owning choices builds self-trust and confidence. The more consistently you act with accountability, the more you see yourself as someone capable of shaping outcomes. This identity reinforces motivation, focus, and clarity. Taking bold responsibility also inspires others. When people witness decisive, accountable action, they are encouraged to raise their own standards. Responsibility is both personal and relational. Your choices ripple outward, creating influence beyond the self. Finally, Bold responsibility is an ongoing commitment. It is not a one-time effort. Life will continually present decisions that shape the future. Each choice is an opportunity to exercise ownership, courage, and foresight. Consistency in this practice ensures that the trajectory of your life is deliberate rather than accidental. Every action matters. Every decision compounds. Taking responsibility for choices today creates a foundation for freedom, growth, and purpose in all the years to come. Chapter 12. Serve others generously while strengthening your own capabilities. Serving others generously while strengthening your own capabilities is a practice that requires balance, intentionality, and clarity of purpose. Generosity is often misunderstood as self-sacrifice or giving beyond one's limits. True service is most effective when it comes from a place of stability, energy, and competence. When you invest in your own growth, you increase your capacity to contribute meaningfully to others. Serving effectively requires skill, preparation, and the wisdom to know when and how to give. Generosity and self-improvement are not opposing forces, they are complementary. Strengthening yourself allows your service to be impactful, consistent, and sustainable. The first step is self-awareness. Understanding your strengths and limitations allows you to identify where you can contribute most effectively. Awareness prevents overextension and ensures that your efforts are focused on areas where you can create real value. Service is more than intention, it is impact. Knowing your abilities and gaps ensures that your generosity produces tangible benefits rather than temporary gestures. Continuous self-improvement underpins effective service. Developing skills, knowledge, and emotional intelligence allows you to solve problems for others more efficiently. Each time you grow, your ability to support, mentor, and guide increases. Strengthening capabilities does not diminish generosity, it amplifies it. A well-prepared individual can contribute without depletion and maintain consistency over time. Generosity also requires clarity about what is valuable to others. Blind giving may meet immediate needs but fails to create lasting benefit. Observing needs, listening actively, and responding with thoughtfulness ensures that your contributions are meaningful. Intentional service is more impactful than spontaneous or reactive giving because it aligns resources with actual demand. Boundaries remain essential even in generosity. Serving others without limits can lead to burnout and resentment. Setting clear parameters about what you can give, when, and how preserves energy and maintains motivation. Boundaries do not reduce the quality of service, they enhance it by allowing focus, attention, and patience to remain intact. Time is one of the most critical resources in generous service. How you allocate it determines the depth and sustainability of your impact. Intentional time management ensures that service does not come at the expense of personal growth or necessary responsibilities. Prioritizing tasks, scheduling focus periods, and dedicating energy strategically ensures that both giving and development coexist effectively. Serving others cultivates empathy. When you engage with the challenges, goals, and perspectives of those around you, emotional awareness deepens. Empathy strengthens communication, cooperation, and influence. These skills, once developed, improve all areas of life, including professional performance, personal relationships, and leadership. Generosity and skill development reinforce each other in a virtuous cycle. Reflection enhances the effectiveness of service. After acts of giving, evaluating impact and process highlights lessons and areas for improvement. Reflection allows you to refine approach, increase efficiency, and maintain consistency. Growth is not only about quantity but also quality. By reviewing outcomes, you learn how to serve smarter, not just harder. Serving others while strengthening yourself also requires patience. Change is rarely immediate. Efforts to mentor, teach, or support take time to produce lasting effects. Simultaneously, building your own skills is a gradual process. Patience ensures that you remain committed and consistent, understanding that long-term value emerges from steady effort rather than impulsive action. Generosity fosters resilience. By contributing to others, you practice adaptability, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. Challenges encountered while serving expand your capacity for resourcefulness. This strengthens your own capabilities and builds confidence in your ability to handle complexity. Each interaction becomes a training ground for skill, patience, and strategic thinking. Accountability is vital. Being responsible for commitments to others builds trust and reinforces personal discipline. When others rely on your generosity, you learn the importance of follow-through. This accountability encourages the development of organizational skills, planning, and reliability. These capabilities support both your personal growth and the effectiveness of your contributions. Generosity is most powerful when aligned with core values. Understanding what matters most to you ensures that your service has purpose and authenticity. Giving that is disconnected from personal values may provide temporary relief, but lacks depth. Alignment between action and principle increases satisfaction, motivation, and sustained effort. Skill building enhances confidence in serving. When you know that you are capable, generosity is not hesitant or constrained. Competence allows you to take initiative, offer creative solutions, and act decisively. Confidence also encourages others to trust and rely on your support, increasing the overall impact of your service. Service fosters humility. Helping others highlights the interdependence of life. It reminds you that no one succeeds in isolation. Humility strengthens relationships, deepens insight, and provides perspective. Humility combined with competence ensures that generosity is grounded, sustainable, and effective. Developing systems increases the efficiency of both personal growth and service. Scheduling practice, creating routines, and automating repetitive tasks ensures that neither development nor contribution suffers. Systems protect energy and maintain consistency, allowing for long-term investment in both yourself and others. Generosity can expand influence. Serving well demonstrates reliability, integrity, and skill. Others observe and emulate these behaviors. Your actions inspire similar patterns in colleagues, peers, or community members. Strengthening your own capabilities increases credibility, making your generosity more effective and respected. Continuous learning enhances service. Reading, reflection, and skill building keep your approach current, informed, and innovative. Generosity grounded in knowledge creates practical solutions rather than symbolic gestures. Improving your own understanding and ability ensures that service has meaningful, sustainable outcomes. Serving others strengthens motivation. Contribution provides purpose and reinforces effort. Witnessing positive impact encourages persistence in personal development. Growth and generosity become intertwined as your skills improve. Your capacity to serve increases, which in turn motivates further self-improvement. Generosity also develops patience and emotional control. Interactions with others can be complex, unpredictable, and challenging. Consistently responding with empathy and composure builds emotional resilience. This stability enhances personal capabilities, enabling higher quality service and more thoughtful decision-making. Personal growth ensures longevity in service. Without investing in yourself, energy wanes, skills stagnate, and impact diminishes. Strengthening abilities maintains a sustainable foundation for contribution. Your influence grows when your own capabilities expand alongside acts of giving. Serving others generously while strengthening yourself requires daily intentionality. Small acts of assistance, combined with consistent self-development, compound over time into significant influence and capacity. Each choice to invest in skill or to contribute thoughtfully adds to long-term effectiveness. The practice builds character, reinforces discipline, and creates an enduring ability to impact the lives of others. Ultimately, generosity and personal development are inseparable. Service is most meaningful when it comes from competence and preparation. Growth is most effective when it enables contribution. By dedicating attention to both, you cultivate the ability to make a lasting impact while continually enhancing your own potential. Each day becomes an opportunity to serve with clarity, act with skill, and strengthen capabilities for the challenges ahead. Chapter 13's I design systems that make good actions easier to repeat. Designing systems that make good actions easier to repeat begins with understanding that human behavior is shaped more by structure than by willpower alone. Relying solely on motivation or discipline is insufficient for sustaining meaningful habits over time. Systems provide a framework that reduces friction, automates choices, and channels effort into consistent action. They transform intention into routine, turning sporadic effort into continuous progress. A well-designed system removes unnecessary mental load, allowing the mind to focus on execution rather than decision-making. The first step in creating effective systems is clarity about what you want to achieve. Without a specific outcome in mind, any system risks becoming vague or ineffective. Clearly defining the behaviors and actions that lead to the desired result ensures that the system supports actual goals. Each element of the system should be directly linked to progress, eliminating unnecessary steps or distractions. Simplicity is essential. Systems work best when they are easy to understand and follow. Complexity breeds resistance and confusion. A system should minimize decision fatigue by creating predictable routines. The easier it is to follow, the more likely the behavior will become habitual. Consistency is built on simplicity, not on overcomplicated strategies. Environment plays a critical role in system design. Surroundings influence behavior far more than willpower. Arranging your space to support desired actions makes good habits automatic. This could mean placing exercise equipment in visible locations, keeping healthy food accessible, or arranging work tools to minimize distractions. Systematic design of your environment directs energy toward productive behaviors effortlessly. Automation is a powerful tool. Whenever possible, remove unnecessary steps from repeated actions. Automatic reminders, preset schedules, and batch processing of tasks reduce cognitive load. Automation does not replace awareness or effort, but ensures that essential actions are consistently performed, even when attention or energy is limited. Feedback loops reinforce systems. Measuring outcomes and monitoring progress allows the system to self-correct. Without feedback, it is easy to continue ineffective behaviors. Tracking results encourages accountability and adjustment, which ensures the system remains aligned with goals. Feedback transforms routine into adaptive practice. Breaking actions into smaller steps enhances repeatability. Large, intimidating tasks are easier to complete when divided into manageable components. Systems should incorporate incremental actions that build toward the larger goal. Each small success reinforces momentum, reduces resistance, and strengthens confidence. Consistency is more important than intensity. Systems prioritize repetition over sporadic bursts of effort. Daily or regular application produces compounding results over time. Systems that reward small, consistent actions outperform those that rely on rare, exceptional effort. Habit formation thrives on repetition, not magnitude. Behavioral triggers strengthen systems. Linking actions to cues creates automatic responses. This could involve tying a morning ritual to a specific time, or connecting an activity to an existing routine. Triggers reduce the need for conscious decision, making and enhance the likelihood that actions will be performed without resistance. Flexibility is crucial. A system should adapt to changing circumstances without losing core function. Life is unpredictable, and rigid structures fail under pressure. Effective systems anticipate variability, allowing adjustment while maintaining progress. Flexibility ensures sustainability rather than abandonment. Prioritization within systems ensures that energy is directed to high-value actions. Not every good action has equal impact. Systems should emphasize behaviors that produce the greatest results. Time, attention, and effort are finite, making prioritization essential for efficiency and sustained progress. Reinforcement strengthens systems. Rewards, acknowledgement, or visible signs of progress maintain motivation. Reinforcement does not require extravagance. Even small indicators of accomplishment encourage continued adherence. Systems should integrate feedback that naturally reinforces behavior. Systems also benefit from clear boundaries. Defining what is included or excluded prevents dilution of effort. By specifying limits, systems reduce distraction and focus energy on meaningful actions. Boundaries ensure that effort is productive and consistent. Documentation improves system clarity. Writing down processes, routines, and sequences ensures that actions are repeatable. Documentation reduces reliance on memory, minimizes errors, and allows the system to function smoothly under varying conditions. A clear record creates accountability and simplifies adoption. Systems should incorporate checkpoints for reflection. Periodically reviewing performance and outcomes allows optimization. Adjustments refine the system, ensuring that it continues to produce desired results efficiently. Reflection transforms static routines into dynamic tools for continuous improvement. Habit stacking enhances effectiveness. Combining complementary behaviors into a sequence reduces resistance and increases efficiency. When one habit triggers another, momentum builds naturally, making repeated action easier. Habit stacking leverages existing routines to reinforce new behaviors. Energy management is essential for system design. Actions are more likely to be repeated when energy levels are considered. Scheduling demanding tasks for times of high focus and lighter tasks for low energy periods increases adherence. Systems should account for natural fluctuations in energy and attention. Accountability strengthens system adherence. Sharing goals, routines, or progress with trusted individuals increases commitment. External observation motivates consistency. Systems paired with accountability create social reinforcement that complements internal structure. Visualization supports system success. Clearly imagining the process and benefits of repeated actions reinforces commitment. Mental rehearsal prepares the mind to follow through and strengthens the connection between intention and behavior. Visualization increases clarity and reduces resistance. Simplifying decision-making is central. Systems reduce the number of choices required each day. By pre-deciding actions, order, and routines, you conserve willpower for execution. Less decision fatigue translates into more consistent follow-through. Integration with existing routines maximizes adoption. Systems are most effective when they build on habits already established. Attaching new behaviors to familiar sequences reduces friction and enhances repeatability. Incremental integration ensures gradual, sustainable growth. Tracking progress solidifies outcomes. Systems should include measurable indicators of action completion and impact. Visibility of progress encourages persistence and provides motivation during periods of fatigue or doubt. Tracking creates accountability and reinforces habit formation. Systems also incorporate recovery and adaptation. Overloading routines without space for rest leads to burnout. Sustainable systems balance effort and recovery, allowing continuous performance without depletion. Recovery ensures long-term repeatability and prevents stagnation. Feedback from experience should inform refinement. Observing what works and what does not allows systems to evolve. Rigid adherence without adaptation reduces effectiveness. Learning from practice ensures systems remain relevant and efficient. The ultimate goal of designing systems is to make desired behaviors almost inevitable. Good systems remove obstacles, reduce reliance on fluctuating motivation, and provide structure for consistent action. When systems are aligned with goals, values, and energy, progress becomes automatic, predictable, and sustainable. Each repetition strengthens competence, confidence, and momentum, producing results that accumulate quietly yet powerfully over time. By focusing on creating frameworks rather than depending on willpower alone, systems make high-value actions accessible, repeatable, and durable. Consistency, reflection, adaptability, and reinforcement transform effort into routine, allowing growth and achievement to compound steadily. Systems ensure that each day supports long-term progress, making it easier to act decisively and maintain momentum toward meaningful goals. Chapter 14. Reflect nightly to adjust direction and improve tomorrow's actions. Reflecting nightly to adjust direction and improve tomorrow's actions is a practice that transforms ordinary routines into deliberate, intentional growth. Most people move through their days without pausing to evaluate the impact of their decisions, habits, and behaviors. This lack of reflection prevents learning, growth, and long-term progress. Nightly reflection allows the mind to process experiences, identify patterns, and adjust actions for better outcomes. It is a tool that turns each day into a stepping stone rather than a repeat of trial and error. The first step in nightly reflection is creating space and consistency. Choose a quiet, uninterrupted time before bed to review the day. This dedicated moment signals to the mind that reflection is a priority, not an afterthought. The act of pausing, even briefly, provides clarity and mental separation from daily noise. Consistency makes reflection a habit that compounds over time, increasing awareness and improving decision-making naturally. Begin by reviewing the day objectively. Identify what actions produce desired results and what behaviors led to setbacks. Avoid judgment or self-criticism. Objective observation ensures that you learn from facts rather than emotions. This honest assessment creates a clear picture of patterns, strengths, and areas needing adjustment. Next, evaluate how your choices aligned with your larger goals. Every day provides opportunities to either move closer to or farther from long-term objectives. Reflecting nightly allows you to notice misalignment early and adjust immediately rather than accumulating error over time. When actions consistently reflect purpose, progress becomes more predictable and intentional. Focus on small wins as well as setbacks. Recognizing accomplishments reinforces motivation, confidence, and momentum. Celebrating progress, even in minor ways, strengthens positive behavior patterns and provides a foundation for sustainable effort. Success is often built quietly over repeated small actions, and nightly reflection ensures these contributions are acknowledged and learned from. Identify areas of improvement without dwelling on mistakes. Reflection is about correction and learning, not self-punishment. Recognizing missteps allows you to plan specific adjustments for tomorrow. Each misstep carries a lesson if approached with curiosity and responsibility. By addressing errors promptly, you prevent repeated cycles of ineffective behavior. Plan actionable adjustments. Reflection is incomplete without translating insights into concrete steps. Decide what you will do differently tomorrow based on today's experience. Clear, specific, and achievable actions create a bridge between insight and execution. This transforms reflection from a passive review into a tool for proactive improvement. Reflection also involves evaluating emotional responses. Consider how feelings influence decisions, interactions, and productivity. Understanding emotional triggers allows better control over future reactions. Emotional awareness strengthens resilience, communication, and decision-making, enabling more consistent alignment with goals. Nightly reflection encourages gratitude and perspective. Recognizing what went well and what resources or support contributed to success fosters appreciation and reduces stress. Gratitude enhances clarity and motivation, creating a balanced mindset that supports problem-solving and effective planning. Assess how time was spent. Did your priorities receive appropriate attention? Were distractions allowed to dominate focus? Evaluating time usage highlights inefficiencies and opportunities for more intentional allocation. Adjusting tomorrow's schedule based on this assessment maximizes impact and energy utilization. Reflection improves self-awareness. Repeated daily analysis uncovers unconscious patterns, habits, and biases. Awareness provides the foundation for informed decision-making. By observing trends in behavior and thought, you gain control over choices instead of acting automatically or reactively. Consider physical energy and health. Review how sleep, nutrition, exercise, and breaks influenced focus, mood, and productivity. Adjusting habits to maintain energy directly impacts performance and decision quality. Daily attention to physical well-being reinforces long-term capability and consistency. Reflection also fosters strategic thinking. Assess whether actions served immediate needs or contributed to long-term objectives. Evaluate trade-offs and consider alternative approaches. This mindset develops foresight and the ability to navigate complex situations with intentionality rather than impulsiveness. Nightly reflection strengthens accountability. Recording insights in a journal, notes, or mental checklist creates a tangible record of progress and decisions. Accountability reinforces follow-through and provides a reference for evaluating growth over time. Documenting reflections encourages honesty and consistency in self-assessment. Identify opportunities for learning. Each day presents experiences that can improve knowledge, skill, or insight. Reflection highlights areas where reading, training, or practice could accelerate progress. Continuous learning ensures that each day's lessons inform not only tomorrow, but also long-term development. Reflection supports mental clarity. Reviewing the day helps release stress, uncertainty, and unresolved thoughts before sleep. Mental decluttering improves focus, emotional regulation, and energy levels for the following day. Ending the day with clarity enables more productive and intentional action when the next day begins. Adjust priorities based on reflection. Daily circumstances shift, and nightly review allows realignment, ensuring that tasks, goals, and interactions remain consistent with purpose prevents drift and wasted effort. Prioritization becomes adaptive rather than rigid, ensuring responsiveness without losing direction. Reflection also encourages proactive problem-solving. Reviewing challenges and obstacles from the day allows for brainstorming solutions in a low-pressure setting. Anticipating potential difficulties enhances preparedness and reduces reactive stress. Planning solutions ahead of time improves confidence and effectiveness in addressing tomorrow's tasks. Daily reflection develops discipline and self-trust. Consistently reviewing actions and adjusting behaviors creates a feedback loop that strengthens control over habits and decisions. Over time, this practice builds confidence in your ability to influence outcomes intentionally. Finally, nightly reflection reinforces growth mindset. Viewing each day as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve cultivates resilience and optimism. Challenges become lessons, successes are celebrated, and each new day begins with clarity and purpose. Reflection transforms ordinary routines into a continuous cycle of improvement, ensuring that effort compounds into meaningful long-term results. By committing to nightly reflection, you develop a clear understanding of how each action contributes to your overall objectives. You gain awareness of patterns, emotional responses, and time management. Adjustments based on reflection improve efficiency, focus, and alignment with goals. Over weeks and months, this consistent practice shapes behavior, strengthens discipline, and accelerates growth. Nightly reflection turns experience into actionable insight, creating a foundation for deliberate and meaningful progress. Chapter 15. Stay patient during growth phases while maintaining consistent effort. Staying patient during growth phases while maintaining consistent effort requires understanding that progress is rarely immediate or linear. Many people begin new habits, projects, or goals with enthusiasm only to become frustrated when results do not appear quickly. Impatience leads to abandoning efforts prematurely, wasting time and energy that could have produced significant long-term outcomes. True growth is a process that unfolds over time, and maintaining steady effort despite slow, visible progress separates those who achieve lasting success from those who quit too soon. Patience does not mean inaction, it means trusting the process while continuing to act intentionally every day. The first element of patience in growth is realistic expectation. Understanding that meaningful development takes months, years, or even decades prepares the mind for delayed results. Setting expectations too high or anticipating rapid transformation creates unnecessary stress and discouragement. Viewing effort as an investment rather than a transaction allows for steady commitment. Consistent action compounded over time generates results far greater than occasional bursts of intensity. Consistency is essential during these phases. Daily action, even when progress seems minimal, reinforces skill, builds resilience, and establishes momentum. Habits formed through repetition compound into significant outcomes over months and years. Effort applied regularly matters more than the intensity of isolated actions. Maintaining a consistent routine demonstrates commitment and reinforces the mindset necessary to endure the slow phases of growth. Tracking incremental progress helps sustain patience. Often, growth occurs in ways that are subtle and not immediately visible. Recording small wins, improvements, or completed tasks reveals tangible evidence of forward movement. Even slight advancement provides motivation and reinforces confidence. Recognizing micro-progress reduces discouragement and helps maintain focus during long-term endeavors. Managing expectations also involves separating effort from immediate results. The process itself holds value even if outcomes are delayed. Skills, knowledge, resilience, and discipline develop through repeated practice. Focusing on refining process rather than fixating on results allows steady growth without frustration. Over time, consistent effort in skill development naturally produces outcomes. Resilience supports patience during slow growth. Challenges, setbacks, and obstacles are inevitable. Accepting that difficulties are part of the process reduces frustration and maintains commitment. Viewing challenges as opportunities to learn strengthens perseverance and reinforces the ability to sustain effort through uncertainty. Each challenge faced builds confidence in navigating future obstacles. Mindset plays a crucial role. Patience is not passive waiting but active persistence. Growth is a series of compounding actions that may not be immediately evident. Maintaining belief in the long-term value of consistent effort reduces the urge to abandon projects prematurely. A mindset oriented toward delayed gratification and long-term results allows effort to remain steady even when immediate rewards are absent. Self-discipline supports continuous action. Motivation fluctuates naturally, and relying solely on feelings is unreliable. Discipline ensures that consistent effort continues regardless of mood, energy, or circumstance. Building self-discipline strengthens the ability to persist during slow growth phases, maintaining alignment between actions and long-term objectives. Strategic planning complements patience. Breaking long-term goals into smaller, achievable milestones provides structure and measurable progress. Each milestone achieved reinforces the value of effort and sustains motivation. Structured planning reduces overwhelm and keeps focus on manageable, actionable steps. Reflection enhances patient growth. Evaluating progress periodically helps identify adjustments, improvements, and inefficiencies. Reflection ensures that consistent effort remains effective and purposeful. This practice allows for course correction without abandoning overall goals. Learning from experience ensures that actions remain aligned with objectives over time. Gratitude reinforces patience. Appreciating small improvements, opportunities, and the ability to act strengthens mental resilience. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what has been achieved, maintaining motivation and perspective during slow phases. A grateful mindset reduces stress and reinforces commitment to the process. Energy management is critical. Sustaining effort over time requires attention to rest, nutrition, and recovery. Overexertion or neglecting health leads to burnout, which undermines consistency. Patience includes pacing oneself, ensuring energy levels support prolonged action, and allowing sustainable growth. Mentorship and guidance support long-term growth. Learning from others who have navigated slow development provides perspective, strategies, and encouragement. Observing how experienced individuals maintain effort during extended phases helps maintain patience and informs decision-making. External insight reduces frustration and accelerates learning. Focusing on controllable factors strengthens patience. Outcomes are influenced by many variables, some beyond immediate control. Concentrating on actions within personal control reinforces a sense of agency and reduces anxiety over results. Effective effort is sustained when attention is placed on what can be influenced rather than what cannot. Celebrating process-oriented success reinforces commitment. Recognizing adherence to routines, effort, and skill development emphasizes the journey rather than only the outcome. When small actions are acknowledged, motivation continues, creating a reinforcing cycle of effort and improvement. Adaptability enhances sustained growth. Plans may require adjustment as circumstances change. Flexibility in approach ensures progress continues without frustration when obstacles arise. Patience is maintained by understanding that adaptation is part of the growth process, not a sign of failure. Visualization supports persistence. Mentally rehearsing success, imagining mastery, and anticipating challenges reinforce the value of consistent effort. Visualization strengthens belief in eventual results, motivating action even when immediate progress is invisible. Accountability reinforces patience. Sharing goals, progress, or milestones with trusted individuals increases commitment. External expectations provide additional motivation to maintain consistent effort even during discouraging phases. Accountability encourages follow-through and reinforces discipline. Curiosity strengthens engagement during slow growth. Maintaining interest in learning, experimentation, and discovery prevents stagnation and discouragement. Curiosity fosters resilience, creativity, and adaptive thinking, allowing continuous effort to remain engaging and productive. Long-term perspective reduces frustration. Viewing challenges, delays, and slow progress as temporary phases within a broader trajectory cultivates patience. Understanding that mastery and achievement require time encourages sustained effort and reduces impulsive reactions. Consistency, reflection, adaptability, and mindfulness create a framework for patient growth. Each day of deliberate action contributes to cumulative results. Patience is not passive, it is an active commitment to persistent, purposeful effort. Growth phases may feel slow, but maintaining discipline and focus ensures that progress compounds into significant long-term achievement. By staying patient during growth phases while maintaining consistent effort, you develop resilience, mastery, and long-term capability. The combination of mindset, process, and daily action transforms slow progression into meaningful, lasting results. Every small effort accumulates, every challenge provides insight, and every day of consistency strengthens the foundation for future success. Patience and persistence together ensure that effort translates into tangible, enduring growth over time. Chapter 16. Simplify your life to focus on what truly matters. Simplifying your life to focus on what truly matters begins with understanding that complexity often obscures priorities and drains energy. Many people fill their days with tasks, distractions, and obligations that do not advance their goals or bring lasting satisfaction. Simplicity is not about doing less arbitrarily, it is about doing what is most meaningful consistently and intentionally. Every unnecessary choice, activity, or commitment consumes attention and reduces the mental space available for high-value actions. Reducing clutter in life, whether physical, mental, or social, allows focus to shift to pursuits that genuinely contribute to growth, fulfillment, and purpose. The first step is identifying core priorities. What are the outcomes, values, or goals that matter most? Without clarity, efforts are scattered and energy is wasted. Evaluating current commitments against these priorities reveals which activities support long-term objectives and which distract from them. Simplifying begins with making conscious decisions to eliminate or minimize low-value actions. Physical environment directly influences mental clarity. A cluttered space creates distraction, stress, and inefficiency. Organizing belongings, maintaining order, and removing excess items reduces friction and frees cognitive energy. Clean, structured surroundings support concentration, calmness, and efficiency, making it easier to focus on what matters most. Digital simplification is equally critical. Smartphones, notifications, social media, and emails fragment attention constantly. Setting boundaries on digital consumption, organizing communication, and prioritizing meaningful digital interactions preserve focus and reduce stress. Simplifying digital inputs ensures that energy is directed toward purposeful action rather than reactive distraction. Time is a finite resource, and simplification involves managing it deliberately. Reviewing daily schedules to eliminate low-impact activities creates space for high-value tasks. Focusing on a few important priorities instead of multitasking allows for deeper engagement and better results. Each hour redirected toward meaningful work compounds over time. Saying no is an essential skill. Many obligations are assumed out of habit, social pressure, or fear of missing opportunities. Learning to decline requests or distractions respectfully protects time and energy. Boundaries ensure that attention remains aligned with true priorities. Saying no is not rejection of others, but affirmation of what matters most. Simplification involves clarifying processes, streamlining routines, automating repetitive tasks, and reducing unnecessary steps increases efficiency and reduces mental load. By minimizing friction, important actions become easier to complete consistently. Simpler processes create more predictable outcomes and allow sustained focus on essential goals. Emotional simplification strengthens resilience. Holding grudges, overthinking decisions, or dwelling on minor frustrations consumes mental energy. Letting go of unnecessary emotional baggage improves clarity, reduces stress, and frees attention for productive action. Emotional simplicity enhances judgment and decision-making. Decision fatigue is reduced by simplifying choices. Limiting options in daily life, such as meals, clothing, or schedules, preserves willpower for high-stakes decisions. Routine and structure create automaticity, allowing effort to be directed toward meaningful challenges rather than trivial choices. Simplifying relationships focuses energy on connections that are supportive, authentic, and mutually beneficial. Investing in people who encourage growth and aligning with those who share core values ensures that social energy is well spent. Reducing engagement with draining or superficial relationships preserves mental and emotional resources. Financial simplification reduces stress and increases focus. Streamlining accounts, automating savings, and minimizing unnecessary expenditures frees energy for wealth building and meaningful investments. Clear financial structures prevent distraction and create a stable foundation for long-term objectives. Prioritizing health is central to a simplified life. Regular sleep, nutrition, and movement routines support energy, focus, and resilience. Health is a foundational resource, and simplifying habits in this area ensures that the mind and body can perform optimally for important goals. Reflection supports simplification. Regularly reviewing activities, commitments, and habits allows for adjustment and removal of low-value tasks. Reflection ensures that focus remains aligned with what is truly important and prevents accumulation of unnecessary complexity. Focus on long-term value rather than immediate gratification. Many distractions offer instant pleasure but little contribution to lasting goals. Simplification involves distinguishing between fleeting satisfaction and enduring benefit. Directing energy toward high-value pursuits builds competence, results, and fulfillment over time. Intentional planning reduces chaos. Structuring days, weeks, and months with clear priorities creates predictability and reduces wasted effort. Planning ensures that each action aligns with meaningful objectives rather than being reactive or accidental. Learning to delegate effectively simplifies responsibility. Not every task requires personal attention. Sharing duties, outsourcing non-essential activities, and empowering others creates more mental space for critical actions. Delegation is a tool to focus effort on high-value contributions. Habits reinforce simplification. Establishing consistent routines for important actions reduces decision-making and preserves energy for challenging or creative work. Repeated automatic behaviors create structure, efficiency, and reliability without conscious effort. Simplifying commitments reduces overwhelm. Taking on too many responsibilities leads to stress, fatigue, and inefficiency. Carefully selecting obligations and focusing on what aligns with priorities ensures sustainable effort and meaningful results. Mindfulness enhances simplicity. Being present in each task improves attention, reduces wasted effort, and clarifies what actions truly matter. Awareness of daily activities allows for immediate adjustment and prioritization, keeping life aligned with meaningful goals. Limiting multitasking strengthens focus. Dividing attention across too many activities decreases effectiveness. Simplifying by concentrating on one meaningful action at a time improves quality, reduces stress, and increases achievement. Simplification is an ongoing process. Life circumstances, goals, and priorities change over time. Regularly reassessing commitments, routines, and habits ensures that focus remains on what genuinely matters. Continuous adjustment maintains clarity, energy, and alignment with purpose. By simplifying your life, you create space for growth, creativity, and achievement. Less distraction, less clutter, and fewer unnecessary obligations allow consistent focus on high-value actions. Each day becomes more productive, intentional, and aligned with long-term goals. Simplification enhances clarity, energy, and effectiveness, ensuring that effort is consistently directed toward what truly matters. Focusing on what matters most strengthens resilience, motivation, and satisfaction. Simplified living reduces stress, increases productivity, and allows for more meaningful experiences. Attention, energy, and resources are concentrated on actions that generate real impact. The result is a life that is intentional, productive, and purpose-driven. Simplicity amplifies the effect of consistent effort. When distractions are removed and focus is clear, every action carries greater weight. Repeated high-value actions compound over time, producing results far beyond what scattered or unfocused effort could achieve. Simplifying life ensures that energy and attention are aligned with meaningful objectives, accelerating growth and fulfillment. Intentional simplification is a daily practice. Each decision to remove unnecessary complexity, focus energy, and streamline action strengthens clarity and reinforces priorities. Over time, these repeated choices create a life that is efficient, purposeful, and aligned with personal values. Simplifying allows meaningful action to take center stage, transforming effort into measurable progress and lasting achievement. Focusing on what truly matters cultivates clarity, peace, and momentum. By reducing distractions, clarifying priorities, and maintaining consistent action on high-value tasks, life becomes more manageable, purposeful, and rewarding. Simplification is not a restriction but a foundation for meaningful growth and fulfillment. Chapter 17: Build financial habits that support freedom, stability, and generosity. Building financial habits that support freedom, stability, and generosity requires a shift in mindset from short-term spending to long-term wealth creation. Most people react to financial pressures rather than proactively manage their resources, which limits options and creates unnecessary stress. Developing strong financial habits provides security, reduces anxiety, and enables the ability to make choices aligned with personal values and goals. Freedom comes from knowing your resources are sufficient to cover needs and pursue meaningful opportunities. Stability comes from consistent planning, disciplined spending, and saving for the future. Generosity emerges naturally when your financial foundation allows you to contribute without risk or strain. The first step in building these habits is tracking every dollar. Understanding where money goes provides awareness and control. Without a clear picture, it is impossible to allocate resources effectively. Recording income, expenses, and obligations allows for informed decisions and prevents unintentional overspending. Accurate tracking is the foundation upon which every other financial habit is built. Budgeting is a critical habit. Creating a realistic budget ensures that spending aligns with priorities and goals. Categorizing needs, wants, savings, and investments clarifies where to focus attention. A budget is not a restriction, but a plan for intentional use of resources, ensuring stability and long-term growth. Reviewing and adjusting the budget regularly keeps it responsive to changing circumstances and goals. Saving consistently is essential. Even small, regular contributions accumulate over time. Automating savings reduces the risk of omission and removes reliance on willpower. Establishing emergency funds protects against unexpected expenses and provides peace of mind. A strong habit of saving ensures resilience in times of uncertainty and creates the foundation for financial freedom. Investing is a key habit for long-term financial growth. Allocating resources into assets that appreciate over time, such as stocks, bonds, or real estate, increases wealth beyond what saving alone can achieve. Regular, disciplined investing allows compounding to work effectively, turning consistent effort into substantial long-term results. Understanding risk and diversification ensures investments are sustainable and aligned with individual goals. Avoiding unnecessary debt is crucial. High-interest obligations drain resources and reduce flexibility. Prioritizing debt repayment and avoiding new non-essential debt ensures that income can be directed toward wealth building rather than interest payments. Developing a habit of living within means strengthens stability and reduces financial stress. Spending consciously reinforces these habits. Each purchase should be evaluated based on necessity, value, and long-term impact. Mindful spending prevents impulsive choices and aligns actions with goals. Conscious allocation of resources ensures that every dollar supports freedom, stability, or generosity rather than being consumed by temporary satisfaction. Regular financial review strengthens awareness and adaptation. Evaluating net worth, progress towards savings goals, and investment performance provides insight into what is working and what requires adjustment. Reflection on financial choices allows optimization and ensures habits remain effective and aligned with objectives. Education is a long-term habit that supports financial stability. Continuously learning about budgeting, investing, taxation, and wealth management increases competence and confidence. Knowledge reduces errors, enhances decision-making, and empowers proactive financial planning. Applying lessons learned strengthens security and creates opportunities for growth. Generosity becomes natural when foundational habits are established. Once resources are managed effectively, the ability to give back without jeopardizing personal stability emerges. Charitable contributions, supporting family, or funding projects of value can be done consistently and responsibly. Financial generosity reinforces purpose and connects personal wealth to broader impact. Automation is a practical tool for habit reinforcement. Scheduling automatic transfers for savings, investments, and bill payments ensures consistency and reduces cognitive load. Removing manual steps prevents missed contributions and strengthens reliability. Automation makes financial discipline effortless and predictable. Building multiple income streams increases stability. Relying solely on a single source of income creates vulnerability. Developing additional revenue, whether through side projects, investments, or skills, enhances resilience. Diversifying income supports consistent progress and reduces dependency on unpredictable circumstances. Planning for retirement is an essential habit. Allocating resources toward long-term financial security ensures freedom in later years. Consistent contributions, awareness of retirement needs, and adjusting strategies as circumstances evolve prevent future stress and maintain independence. Early planning compounds benefits and creates peace of mind. Setting financial goals enhances focus. Short-term, medium-term, and long-term objectives provide structure and motivation. Clearly defining targets for savings, investments, debt repayment, and generosity channels effort efficiently. Goals make abstract numbers meaningful, transforming financial management into purposeful action. Accountability reinforces habits. Sharing financial intentions with trusted partners or mentors increases commitment. External accountability creates reinforcement for disciplined behavior and encourages consistency even during periods of distraction or temptation. Accountability transforms plans into reliable execution. Mindset underpins all financial habits. Viewing money as a tool to create freedom, security, and impact changes behavior from reactive spending to proactive management. Discipline, foresight, and intentionality guide decisions, ensuring that resources work toward long-term objectives rather than fleeting desires. Frugality complements wealth building. Consistently evaluating value, minimizing waste, and prioritizing essential spending maximizes available resources. Frugality is not deprivation but thoughtful allocation that amplifies progress toward financial stability and freedom. Emergency planning ensures resilience. Preparing for unexpected expenses, medical costs, or market changes prevents disruption and protects long-term objectives. Anticipating challenges allows habits to remain effective despite external pressures. Stability is strengthened through proactive preparation. Regular reflection supports continuous improvement. Reviewing successes, failures, and progress allows habits to evolve and remain aligned with changing circumstances. Reflection ensures that financial management remains purposeful and effective over time. Discipline in financial habits compounds impact. Daily or weekly actions, when repeated consistently, lead to substantial wealth, security, and freedom. Small habits compounded over months and years produce results far beyond initial expectations. Patience and consistency amplify effort into measurable achievement. Financial independence enables choice. When habits are strong, resources are controlled, and obligations are managed, decisions become driven by preference rather than necessity. This autonomy supports personal goals, relationships, and meaningful contributions to others. Accountability, education, consistency, and foresight combine to create habits that build wealth, stability, and generosity. Each disciplined action reinforces progress and strengthens resilience. When financial habits are intentional, sustainable, and values-aligned, they produce freedom, security, and the capacity to support others meaningfully. By cultivating financial habits grounded in discipline, awareness, and foresight, life becomes more predictable and secure. Each dollar is directed purposefully, every decision contributes to long-term objectives, and the ability to give back emerges naturally. Strong financial habits enable freedom of choice, stability through unpredictability, and opportunities to positively impact the world, creating a life that is both secure and meaningful. Chapter 18: Train your mind daily to choose courage over comfort. Training your mind daily to choose courage over comfort is a practice that strengthens resilience, builds confidence, and expands personal potential. Comfort is instinctive, appealing, and safe, but it rarely leads to growth, accomplishment, or fulfillment. Courage requires facing discomfort, uncertainty, and fear, yet it is the pathway to meaningful progress in every area of life. Choosing courage consistently begins with understanding that mental strength is like a muscle. It grows through repeated, intentional effort. Every time a decision favors growth over ease, confidence and capability expand, making subsequent challenges more manageable. The first step is awareness. Observe where comfort dominates decisions. Notice how habits, routines, or avoidance patterns limit potential. Recognizing these tendencies creates the opportunity to intervene intentionally. Without awareness, the mind automatically gravitates toward convenience, delaying growth and reinforcing fear or avoidance. Small acts of courage compound over time. Each deliberate choice to act despite discomfort builds mental resilience. Speaking up when it is difficult, addressing challenging tasks first, or initiating conversations that require vulnerability trains the brain to tolerate unease and respond with clarity. Incremental challenges are powerful because they produce repeated reinforcement of courage as a habit rather than an occasional effort. Daily practice requires deliberate action. Schedule moments that push boundaries in controlled ways. Taking calculated risks, trying new approaches, or stepping outside familiar routines strengthens confidence. Over time, these experiences reduce fear responses, increase adaptability, and create a mindset where discomfort is viewed as an opportunity rather than a threat. Cognitive reframing supports courageous choices. Viewing fear as an indicator of growth rather than danger transforms how challenges are approached. Fear signals areas where the mind is being stretched and provides insight into potential for expansion. By interpreting discomfort as a positive signal, decisions become aligned with purpose and long-term benefit rather than immediate avoidance. Preparation enhances courage. Anticipating obstacles, practicing skills, and rehearsing scenarios reduces anxiety and increases the likelihood of acting decisively. Confidence is built through readiness, not reckless spontaneity. Preparation provides a foundation for courageous action, making bold decisions feel manageable instead of overwhelming. Consistency reinforces mental strength. Courage is cultivated through repeated exposure to discomfort. Avoiding challenges allows fear to persist and strengthens avoidance habits. Daily practice ensures that the mind becomes accustomed to navigating uncertainty, making courageous choices more natural and instinctive over time. Self-talk influences the courage-comfort balance. The internal dialogue that frames challenges, fear, and uncertainty shapes behavior. Speaking to yourself with clarity, encouragement, and determination strengthens resolve. Replacing excuses, hesitation, or doubt with affirming statements reinforces the mindset necessary to act boldly. Accountability amplifies commitment to courageous choices. Sharing intentions with trusted individuals or mentors increases follow-through. External reinforcement provides motivation and feedback, reducing the temptation to choose comfort when it is easier to avoid challenges. Accountability transforms courage from a private decision into a reinforced practice. Reflection strengthens growth. Evaluating actions at the end of each day, identifying moments where courage was exercised or avoided, and planning adjustments improves future decision-making. Reflection transforms experiences into lessons and ensures continuous improvement in choosing growth over ease. Courage requires embracing uncertainty. Comfort is predictable and safe, but it limits potential. The ability to act without complete certainty develops resilience, critical thinking, and adaptability. Accepting that outcomes cannot always be controlled allows the mind to act decisively despite unknowns, fostering growth and innovation. Facing discomfort gradually strengthens emotional regulation. Each courageous decision exposes the mind to stress, fear, or tension in manageable doses. Over time, these experiences reduce anxiety responses and enhance control, making challenging situations feel less threatening and more navigable. Prioritizing long-term value over short-term ease reinforces courage. Many decisions favor comfort because immediate gratification feels rewarding, yet long-term progress requires sacrifice and discipline. Evaluating the future impact of choices increases the likelihood of acting boldly today. The discipline of prioritizing growth over ease develops sustained mental strength. Exposure to new experiences broadens perspective. Trying unfamiliar tasks, meeting diverse people, or learning new skills challenges habitual comfort zones. These experiences expand adaptability, build confidence, and create the mindset necessary to act decisively in uncertainty. Exposure conditions the mind to handle change, novelty, and risk with clarity. Courage is strengthened by incremental discomfort. Purposeful exposure to minor challenges prepares the mind for greater obstacles. Incremental progress ensures sustainable growth, prevents overwhelm, and builds confidence that larger risks are manageable. Small, consistent steps are more effective than sporadic acts of bravery. Visualization enhances courage. Mentally rehearsing actions that are uncomfortable prepares the mind to respond with confidence. Anticipating challenges and envisioning successful execution reduces fear, improves clarity, and reinforces the belief that bold action is achievable. Mental rehearsal strengthens the connection between intention and execution. Physical habits support mental courage. Exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest strengthen the body, which in turn supports focus, resilience, and emotional control. Physical well-being amplifies the ability to face discomfort without being debilitated by fatigue or stress. A strong body reinforces a strong mind. Accountable reflection reinforces courage. Journaling experiences of discomfort, noting responses, and recording lessons strengthens awareness and builds a repository of strategies for future challenges. Reviewing successes consolidates confidence and reinforces the value of choosing growth over ease. Mentorship accelerates mental development. Observing individuals who consistently choose courage provides strategies, motivation, and practical examples. Learning from others reduces trial and error mistakes and models effective approaches for facing discomfort with composure and determination. Gratitude enhances perspective in courageous action. Appreciating the opportunity to learn, grow, and develop through challenge shifts focus from fear to possibility. Gratitude reinforces resilience and ensures that courageous acts are framed as opportunities rather than burdens. Courage strengthens decision-making under pressure. Daily training improves clarity, confidence, and responsiveness in high-stakes situations. Familiarity with discomfort allows for rational, deliberate choices instead of reactionary behavior. Over time, courage becomes the default response when facing difficult circumstances. Persistence compounds growth. Each choice to prioritize courage over comfort reinforces the habit and strengthens mental endurance. Consistency ensures that fear does not dictate behavior, and incremental victories build a foundation for tackling increasingly complex challenges. By training the mind daily to choose courage, individuals develop resilience, clarity, and adaptability. Comfort may feel safe, but it limits potential and achievement. Courage transforms challenges into opportunities, fear into insight, and obstacles into pathways for growth. Consistent practice, reflection, preparation, and incremental exposure create a mind that embraces discomfort confidently, enabling sustained progress and meaningful achievement in all areas of life. Chapter 19 Zen Honor your health through sleep, movement, nutrition, and recovery. Honoring your health through sleep, movement, nutrition, and recovery is a fundamental practice that impacts every aspect of life, from energy and focus to resilience and longevity. Health is the foundation for sustained growth, productivity, and fulfillment, and neglecting it limits potential in every area. Sleep restores the mind and body, allowing for proper cognitive function, emotional regulation, and physical repair. Without adequate rest, energy is depleted, decisions suffer, and performance declines. Prioritizing consistent, high-quality sleep is a non-negotiable habit that supports all other efforts in life. Movement strengthens the body, supports circulation, improves mood, and enhances endurance. Regular physical activity does not require extreme intensity, but consistent effort that challenges the body safely. Incorporating strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular work builds resilience and reduces the risk of chronic illness. Movement also sharpens the mind, increasing clarity and focus, and providing the energy necessary to pursue meaningful goals. Nutrition fuels performance and recovery. Consuming whole, nutrient-dense foods provides energy for daily tasks, supports cognitive function, and strengthens immunity. Balanced meals that include proteins, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, and micronutrients allow the body to operate efficiently. Hydration is equally critical, as water facilitates nearly every biological process and prevents fatigue and cognitive decline. Developing mindful eating habits ensures that nourishment consistently supports energy, focus, and long-term vitality. Recovery is an essential component, often overlooked. The body and mind require deliberate periods of rest to repair, adapt, and consolidate gains. Overtraining or neglecting rest leads to diminished performance, stress, and increased injury risk. Recovery strategies include quality sleep, active rest, stretching, and relaxation practices that allow the nervous system to recalibrate. Consistent attention to recovery ensures that effort produces growth rather than depletion. Prioritizing health begins with consistency. Daily choices in sleep, exercise, nutrition, and recovery compound over time. Small, repeated actions create substantial benefits that become increasingly evident with sustained effort. Neglecting these areas, even temporarily, reduces capacity, slows progress, and increases vulnerability to illness or burnout. Sleep hygiene supports restorative rest. Establishing consistent bedtimes, minimizing exposure to screens before sleep, and creating a calm, dark environment enhances quality. Adequate sleep improves memory, mood, and focus, allowing for more effective action during waking hours. Quality sleep also supports metabolism, hormone balance, and immune function, ensuring the body can perform optimally. Movement should be intentional and varied, combining strength training, cardiovascular activity, and flexibility exercises maximizes physical capacity and reduces injury risk. Even short periods of consistent movement contribute to long-term health. Incorporating movement into daily routines, such as walking, stretching, or structured exercise, reinforces the habit and creates sustainable results. Nutrition planning prevents reactive or impulsive choices that compromise energy and performance. Preparing meals in advance, focusing on nutrient-dense foods, and avoiding excess processed items ensures that the body receives consistent support. Mindful eating, attention to portion sizes, and balancing macronutrients further optimize energy levels and overall well-being. Hydration is essential for cognitive function, circulation, and cellular processes. Consuming adequate water throughout the day prevents fatigue, supports metabolism, and improves concentration. Simple habits, such as carrying a water bottle, tracking intake, and consuming water consistently, reinforce optimal hydration. Recovery techniques enhance the benefits of sleep, movement, and nutrition. Stretching, mobility work, meditation, and deep breathing reduce tension, support circulation, and improve flexibility. Periodic active recovery, such as light walks or gentle movement on rest days, allows the body to adapt without overloading systems. Mindful attention to recovery accelerates progress and prevents setbacks. Monitoring progress ensures that health habits are effective. Tracking sleep quality, physical activity, dietary choices, and energy levels provides insight into what is working and what requires adjustment. Data-driven reflection allows optimization and ensures that effort produces tangible benefits. Mental health is intertwined with physical well-being. Stress management, mindfulness, and emotional regulation strengthen resilience and improve overall functioning. Practices such as journaling, meditation, and relaxation exercises reduce stress, enhance focus, and improve recovery. Caring for mental health complements physical health and supports sustained growth. Prioritizing health requires intentional boundaries. Allocating time for sleep, exercise, meal preparation, and recovery ensures that competing obligations do not undermine these essential practices. Protecting these boundaries maintains consistency and reinforces the value of well-being as a foundation for success. Adaptation enhances long-term health. Adjusting exercise routines, dietary plans, and recovery strategies based on evolving needs ensures that habits remain effective and sustainable. Listening to the body and responding appropriately prevents injury and optimizes growth. Flexibility in approach allows continued improvement without compromising foundational health. Accountability strengthens adherence to health habits. Sharing goals, progress, or routines with a supportive partner, coach, or community encourages follow-through. External reinforcement provides motivation and guidance, reducing the likelihood of neglect during challenging periods. Education empowers informed decisions. Understanding the impact of sleep, movement, nutrition, and recovery on performance, longevity, and quality of life enhances commitment. Applying evidence-based strategies maximizes results and ensures that daily choices are effective and sustainable. Consistency over intensity produces lasting results. Extreme approaches may yield temporary improvements but are difficult to maintain and often lead to setbacks. Daily, manageable actions in sleep, movement, nutrition, and recovery compound over time to create durable health and vitality. Listening to the body improves decision-making. Recognizing signs of fatigue, hunger, or stress allows timely adjustments to routines, preventing overexertion and promoting recovery. Attentive self-awareness ensures that actions support growth rather than deplete energy. Integrating health habits into daily life increases adherence. Walking, stretching, meal prepping, and sleep routines embedded into schedules become automatic and sustainable. When health practices are habitual, consistency is maintained without requiring excessive willpower or decision-making. Prioritizing health strengthens every area of life. Energy, focus, resilience, and mood improve, supporting work, relationships, creativity, and personal growth. A strong foundation of physical and mental well-being amplifies the impact of other efforts, enabling sustained progress and meaningful achievement. By honoring health through sleep, movement, nutrition, and recovery, life becomes more vibrant, productive, and resilient. Each deliberate action compounds over time, creating energy, clarity, and capacity for growth. A disciplined focus on well-being ensures that the mind and body are capable of pursuing meaningful goals, overcoming challenges, and sustaining long-term success. Health is not optional. It is the foundation upon which every accomplishment and life of purpose is built. Daily commitment to these practices produces compounding benefits. Rested, nourished, and strong individuals make better decisions, perform at higher levels, and approach challenges with clarity and energy. Recovery, mindful movement, and proper nutrition sustain performance and prevent setbacks. Sleep restores cognitive and physical function, ensuring readiness for the demands of each day. Caring for health cultivates resilience and longevity. Proper sleep, consistent movement, balanced nutrition, and active recovery protect the body and mind from stress, fatigue, and disease. Prioritizing these areas enables freedom to act, focus, and pursue goals without limitation. The cumulative effect of small, disciplined choices transforms daily energy into sustainable vitality, creating a life of capacity, achievement, and enduring well-being. Chapter 23. End each day proud while preparing thoughtfully for tomorrow. Ending each day with a sense of pride while preparing thoughtfully for tomorrow is a transformative habit that strengthens personal growth, builds confidence, and ensures consistent progress. Pride is not arrogance, but the quiet acknowledgement that effort was applied intentionally, actions aligned with values, and meaningful steps were taken toward goals. Reflecting on accomplishments reinforces self-trust, validates effort, and strengthens motivation for the following day. Preparing for tomorrow ensures that momentum is sustained, decisions are deliberate, and focus remains aligned with long-term objectives. This habit connects daily actions with broader purpose and transforms ordinary routines into structured, impactful days. To cultivate this habit, start with reflection. Each evening, review the day's activities and decisions objectively. Identify actions that were executed with integrity, dedication, and focus. Recognizing what was accomplished, no matter the size, builds confidence and reinforces the value of consistent effort. This reflection creates clarity about progress and highlights areas that require improvement. Acknowledging success is vital. It is easy to focus on mistakes or incomplete tasks, but taking time to appreciate what was achieved reinforces positive behavior. Celebrating progress, even in small increments, strengthens the internal motivation needed to sustain effort over time. This approach shifts the focus from perfection to consistent improvement. Equally important is honest evaluation. Consider where challenges were encountered, decisions fell short, or outcomes did not align with intentions. Rather than criticizing or dwelling on failure, view these moments as opportunities for insight and learning. Understanding missteps creates actionable knowledge that can be applied tomorrow, preventing repetition and enhancing performance. Gratitude enhances the process of ending the day. Recognizing the resources, support, and circumstances that allowed for effort and progress cultivates perspective. Gratitude grounds pride in reality rather than ego and reinforces awareness of what is meaningful. This practice reduces stress and promotes emotional balance, ensuring reflection is constructive rather than self-critical. Journaling is a practical tool to reinforce these habits. Writing down achievements, lessons, and intentions solidifies reflection and provides a tangible record of progress. Journals serve as a reference for growth, revealing patterns, improvements, and areas requiring attention. Recording thoughts at the end of each day externalizes reflection, clarifies insights, and strengthens accountability. Preparation for tomorrow is equally critical. Planning the next day ensures that priorities are clear, resources are allocated effectively, and energy is directed toward meaningful actions. Mapping out tasks, scheduling time, and identifying potential challenges increases efficiency and reduces decision fatigue. Thoughtful preparation transforms uncertainty into confidence and deliberate action. Setting intentions for the next day aligns behavior with long-term goals. Identify the most important tasks or actions that will advance progress, improve skills, or reinforce values. Prioritization ensures that effort is concentrated on what truly matters rather than scattered across low-value activities. Intentional planning reduces wasted time and energy, enhancing consistency and momentum. Reviewing obligations and commitments enhances preparedness. Understanding deadlines, appointments, and responsibilities allows for proactive management rather than reactive scrambling. Awareness of upcoming demands ensures that the day starts with clarity, reduces stress, and strengthens control over circumstances. Planning ahead creates a mindset of capability and readiness. Preparing resources in advance supports execution. Laying out materials, organizing workspaces, and aligning tools for the next day eliminates friction and streamlines productivity. Readiness reduces wasted time, improves focus, and allows for immediate engagement with important tasks upon starting the day. Thoughtful preparation amplifies efficiency and reinforces discipline. Visualization strengthens readiness for tomorrow. Mentally rehearsing critical actions, decisions, or conversations enhances confidence and reduces anxiety. Visualization connects planning with execution, allowing the mind to anticipate challenges, evaluate potential outcomes, and respond decisively. This practice reinforces intentionality and readiness. Ending the day with gratitude and reflection strengthens emotional resilience. Appreciating effort, lessons, and progress reduces the impact of setbacks and enhances motivation. A clear perspective on accomplishments fosters satisfaction, promotes mental clarity, and builds a foundation for disciplined, focused action in the following day. Routines create consistency. Establishing evening rituals that include reflection, journaling, gratitude, and planning reinforces habits, making them automatic and sustainable. Predictable routines strengthen focus, reduce decision fatigue, and create a sense of structure that supports long-term success. Balancing pride with humility ensures continuous growth. Recognizing achievements while remaining open to improvement prevents complacency. Pride should motivate further effort rather than breed arrogance. Humility encourages learning, adaptability, and receptiveness to feedback, which are essential for sustained progress. Reflection also strengthens self-awareness. Reviewing emotional responses, decisions, and behaviors allows for better understanding of personal patterns. Awareness of tendencies, triggers, and strengths enables intentional adjustment and growth. Self-awareness transforms daily reflection into actionable insight that enhances performance and resilience. Evening preparation reduces stress and increases focus. Knowing that tomorrow is planned and manageable allows the mind to rest fully. Unfinished concerns or uncertainty often interfere with sleep and recovery. By completing reflection and planning, mental clarity is enhanced and energy is preserved for the day ahead. Setting clear priorities ensures that tomorrow's efforts are meaningful. Identifying high-value tasks and focusing on them prevents distraction and maximizes impact. Prioritization strengthens efficiency, aligns actions with goals, and ensures that energy is allocated toward outcomes that matter most. Accountability reinforces consistent practice. Sharing intentions for tomorrow with a trusted partner or mentor creates external reinforcement. Communicating goals increases the likelihood of follow-through, strengthens motivation, and builds a habit of disciplined preparation. Incremental improvement compounds over time. Ending each day with pride and preparation accumulates momentum. Small, intentional actions executed consistently result in significant progress. The combination of reflection, gratitude, planning, and execution creates a self-reinforcing cycle that strengthens capability and confidence. Rest is an essential component of this process. Quality sleep consolidates learning, restores energy, and supports mental clarity. Completing reflection and preparation before rest ensures that the mind is at ease, enhancing recovery and readiness for future action. Daily reflection and preparation integrate personal growth, discipline, and foresight. Ending the day with pride acknowledges effort and reinforces motivation, while thoughtful planning positions the following day for success. This habit bridges action with intention, ensuring that effort is aligned with values, goals, and purpose. By committing to reflect on achievements, learn from challenges, express gratitude, and prepare deliberately for tomorrow, individuals cultivate a sense of control, satisfaction, and momentum. Pride is reinforced through recognition of effort and progress, while preparation ensures continuity and efficiency. This combined practice transforms ordinary routines into a structured path of consistent growth, resilience, and meaningful accomplishment. Closing each day with intentional reflection and preparation enhances performance, strengthens discipline, and nurtures fulfillment. Recognizing progress, understanding challenges, and planning thoughtfully creates clarity, confidence, and momentum. Over time, these daily practices compound, producing measurable progress, reinforced self-trust, and the ability to approach each day with focus, purpose, and pride.